Okay, we are recording. Hey everyone, welcome to Plot Twist. I am your host, Danny Thomas.
And I am your co-host, Luis Castillo.
Welcome to episode 2. We hope you guys are enjoying the show so far. This week's episode, we are going to be talking our top favorite shows
Yeah.
of all
eh,
time and also currently too.
Yeah. Um, we Danny and I, one of the things that we bonded over is that besides us like being TV watchers, we love a good throwback show. Whether it's I Love Lucy, One Tree Hill, like
The
your
Golden Girls.
the Golden Girls, like to the point where you have a DVD collection and you just rearrange your background with the
Yeah. Well, you
shows.
guys can't see it because I have my camera on, by the way. I'm using a webcam. You guys can't see it because my dogs are in the background and they're annoying, so I have one of those like special green screen backgrounds so you can only see me and I think a solar system. Yeah, solar system. But yeah, if you guys watch my reaction videos, which will be linked in the show notes, you guys will see my background that he's talking about.
Exactly. So yeah, you feel free to subscribe to his reaction videos. Um, but anyway, this is episode 2. We're listing like our top 4. There were so many.
Yeah, our list was
2.
really long. The first time we were
Yeah,
like, okay, this will be like 4 hours long. So we kind of had to think realistically, like, what shows, like, we loved TV so much that it was really hard. But what shows do we like want to shine a light on for now? Because this is obviously not going to be the last episode we're talking TV. So we have plenty of time to do this again if we wanted to.
yeah. The thing is, it'll update because even though we have overall favorites, like especially the current ones, every year it changes depending if they get canceled, they get picked up, or
Or
they
it
get
turns to
picked up a couple
shit.
years exactly. And
Riverdale.
oh yes, Riverdale. I'm thinking of another show
I
that
had to
did
talk
that.
him out of I had to talk him out of watching it, you guys, because
You
I
did.
heard bad things about that show. Like it starts good and it goes downhill real quick.
It does. Secret Life of the American Teenager.
Oh, I hate that show. Don't get me started on that.
But it's so irresistible. Like I still put it like an
I know.
honorable
I
mention
was
just because.
watching something where they were talking about how Shailene herself, by the way, does not like the show and she hates talking about it. But people were like, I hated it so much, but I couldn't look away. Like it was a train wreck, but you had to watch more.
Exactly. Like if there was a category of worst TV finales, its finale would fall into
Well, there's a
category.
lot of shows I can name actually. Some are underwhelming, some are just shit, or
Mm,
some like
yeah,
it's just so traumatizing I never want to rewatch. So there's a list for those. We should do that at some point.
we should. Like, I mean, so we'll even turn into Miss Mojo.
Oh, don't get me started. They're in drama. Did you hear about that? They got called out for a lot of their weird ass rankings and all that. And yeah,
No.
like they would rank people's deaths like top 10. There was one video I
Oh
seen of
yeah, I saw that.
there was one where they ranked top, and you don't, okay, you could say 10 blank without it being controversial. But when you say top 10 worst US mass shootings, that's controversial. That's like that's no. No. So
Yeah.
I guess you
Thank you
guys
for
figured out why
telling
it's
me
called
not to
plot
do.
twist. Because we just go on
Yes.
tangents.
And thank you for letting me know how contra I mean, I kind of sort of knew,
I
but
used
I
to love Miss
thought
Mojo.
no, I did too. But the thing is like I I'm not gonna lie that like that was an idea that I had for like a podcast of my own to do like top 10 the most hard hitting deaths. And I was like,
Okay, that's
would this
different.
sound a
Top 10
little
most hard hitting TV deaths is completely different. No, they were talking about real deaths, like in real life, like school shootings and shit. I'm like,
oh
wow, that's not right.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
but
But yeah, do you
speaking
want to
of
kick
death,
off?
yeah.
Do you want to kick off your list and then do you like want to go, you do your list, or do you want to trade off? Like you do your one show and I do one show. Like, how do you want to do this?
Oh, we can do that. Do
Like, trade
one
off?
show and yeah, trade off. But
Okay.
shit, I we messed up my segue. I was gonna say speaking of deaths, but you know what? Even that wasn't
Sorry.
funny. So thank you for that. No, that's fine. You kind of avoid because I was, we're, we should have listed talk shows on here. Maybe we'll do it in another episode because I feel like we're like the Jenna, or I would say the Kathy Lee and Hoda. Now Jenna and
Well,
Chanel.
my generation was Jenna and Hoda.
Yeah.
Or is it Savannah
Um,
and Hoda? I can't remember.
they switch. Well, for a while it was Jenna and Hoda for the fourth hour, but then the first like 2 hours was obviously Savannah and
Love
Hoda.
Savannah Guthrie. Oh, I hate what she's been going through this year.
Yes. Uh, Anywho, that's a whole other episode. We could list
Oh,
of
see,
different
we this is
tragic
how we
deaths.
this is how we this is how we are in real and like off camera.
Yeah.
Like that's why I think this podcast is going to be really good. Okay, so
So,
Luis, what is your number one show on your list?
my number one show is The Bear, and
No
for the
spoilers, please, but
past
give a gist.
somebody dies. Okay, well, somebody does. That's the premise of the show, but it's the show The Bear has been my summer watch show because new seasons drop every summer for the past 5 years, and it came out at a very interesting time. Well, it's streaming and for me because of dealing with grief myself through my grandma's death. Um, and it's really shit. I'm looking for the. It's very interesting. Well, very interesting and memorable and very. It was quite a journey.
Like comfort,
Um,
kinda.
yes, comfort and like it told my. It pretty much like it ran throughout my grieving era as one would say because it ending last year like closed the chapter of I no longer want to grieve anymore and I'm finally ready to move on to the next chapter, aka this podcast. But it it showed a lot of tremendous growth with the characters, especially Richie and Carmi, who are I mean they're friend cousins, but he was Mikey's, may he rest in peace, best friend. And Mikey's the older brother who tragically died by suicide and who was the owner of the beef, which actually, interesting fun fact, is based on an actual restaurant in Chicago called Mr. Beef's.
Oh, I love
And
that.
I did too. So the guy,
So is
the
the
direct
bear like semi based off a real story, or did they just take inspiration for the restaurant for the show?
they took inspiration from the restaurant.
Okay,
The owner was best friends with the creator, and like the
I
creator
love
would
that.
like you need to would like be outside like in the past. You know those start where like a writer goes into a restaurant and gets inspiration. I love that too.
I like
Like
how because
it's
I know segue like you're. It kind of reminds me when Quinta Brunson, the creator of Abbott, like took inspiration from a real school and also named the school after her real teacher. I like when creators of shows do stuff like that.
exactly that's exactly what the creator did. But the story of like what Carmen or slash Carmi and Natalie and my like, the kitchen staff went through, that's all fiction.
Okay,
Um
obviously.
yeah, and the beef, and actually the beef, even though Mikey was like the person who run it, it was founded by their father who, sorry y'all, but y'all are gonna have to rewatch it and but we till this day, I hope there's some kind of a special because we don't see the father or a story of the father. Um like we see
He's like a mysterious figure or something.
till this day, yes, I was hoping we would see that at least in the finale and we didn't.
Oh,
Um
okay.
we see the mom, which is played by Jamie
Jamie
Lee
Lee
Curtis,
Curtis,
who
Disney
won
legend.
an accolade for like the most like best actress in a guest appearance spot.
Yeah,
And
outstanding guest actor in a comedy, right?
exactly, yes. Season 2, episode 6 is her first appearance, and she killed it because you and I have seen shows where they cover like alcoholism and addiction,
Mm-hmm.
but
All
we
American and Grey's Anatomy are standouts for me for that.
exactly, but and we this like would fall in that category, especially the behavior and the way a family has to navigate through it. Like, this is gonna sound weird because even though my grandma was dementia and this addiction, in a way, it feels like it's relatable in the sense of we have to prevent the bubble from exploding, and we can't contradict the person that's ill.
Yeah, like
And
putting
you have
like a caretaker role, like you're forced into, kind of.
yeah, and you cannot you're always constantly walking on eggshells. And I related to it, and I love that. And I love how even though now because Natalie was the one that just had to pop the bubble and be like, "Mom, you're not okay."
Yeah.
And Donna did not take kindly to it. And then, everyone, and it was during Christmas, by the way. So could you imagine that? Merry
Which
Christmas.
Thanksgiving and Christmas, for some reason, are like ground zero for family drama, aren't they? For some reason, like
They
yeah,
are. It reminds me of me Black Friday 2019. That was like my fishes episode for me with my grandma. But like, yeah, she the, just broke down, and then crashed her car into the house.
damn.
That's how crazy it was. That's how epic. And um that I'm glad that she killed it. And the show did win other awards. It won so many for
Yeah, I knew that it
particularly
swept.
21, was it?
I think it swept during its second
First season
season.
alone. Well,
First and
first and
second, I know for
second.
a fact. Yeah.
Yes, because the first and second, it was. I don't know, have you seen it yet? Danny's
No,
reacting to it.
I'm gonna start reacting to it as soon as I finish From, which is another show I'm doing.
Yeah, because just the first two episodes alone, you can tell that this family went through a lot, and like the business is hanging by a thread. And when you
Did they
see
write the pandemic into the show? Because the show premiered like when the world was kind of opening up again. Did they use that as a backdrop for why the business is hanging on by a thread?
no, but they did reference it.
Okay, so it did
Why
happen
the
in the show.
deliver I mean, the pandemic didn't happen in the show, but they did like sort of reference why deliveries were slow,
Okay.
and why the like the landlord, or which is their Uncle Jimmy, which is like their dad, which is their dad's best friend, is like dying to close the place down. And that's actually the main overall plot of this. Is their goal is to keep the restaurant going to honor Mikey. So they close down the beef and turn it to the bear.
Hence the
And
title.
yeah, and between seasons 2 through 5, there's a clock in the kitchen that estimates the time before Uncle Jimmy shuts the place down and tries to sell it. Um, and their goal is to earn a Michelin star.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but there's a surprise. I'm not going to spoil that one. I'll be
Yes,
nice
because
and not.
I wanna be surprised on some things,
They
obviously.
they earn more than just that, but I'll just keep it at that. Um, they do grow. There's a lot of growth, like I said, with Richie.
I love character growth. That's my favorite thing of TV shows.
Exactly. Richie was very like. I mean, that's why he and Carmi but heads, because I mean, he loved Mikey so much, but thing is, he had a huge ego.
Yeah,
He
which I
wanted
can
to do
imagine.
things a certain way. Yeah. And because of it, he and his baby mama, divorced, and is trying to work on himself, which he does. And then he realized like his way of behaving is not going to bring people together at a restaurant. That's what both him and Carmi have to learn with dealing with grief. And even though cooking or doing something artistic is what is a one or working is a way
Yes.
to like cope with it. Um, I'm not. Uh, I swear I suck when I'm on air, or not. I don't
No,
suck,
you're
but I'm
fine.
like,
I listened to our pilot when we got done, and we actually did pretty good. There was the delay, and I'm noticing there's not a delay now. I think it's
no,
because I'm
that's good.
recording.
No, but it's just like I'm looking for. No, that's sorry. I keep cutting you off. I'm sorry.
No, you're
I
not
keep
cutting me off.
No, but I was gonna say like I'm looking for the right words.
No, but
I
we're
need
not
to write more
scripted, and
scripts.
well, we are kind of scripted. You guys are like we need to know what we're going to talk about, so we have like notes. But that's
Yeah,
the beauty of a podcast is like you don't need to like it's not like running this and that, like having to do it a certain way. So it's fine. Like you take your time to find what you're talking, like the wording that you need. But
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you for having the patience with me for doing
yeah.
that.
But yeah, the
But
pilot, you guys, I loved how it turned out. So I hope you guys did as well.
yes. Yes, I hope you guys like it.
It was all
But
over the place, and that's kind of what I
it
wanted to be.
is exactly. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and share. But anywho, what I was saying is that they use cooking as an outlet to deal with their grief. You know how we use TV and music
Yes, I
as
definitely
a
use music
way.
as an outlet
Yes, that's what they do, which is great. But there's a fine line between using that as an outlet
and an
and
escape.
is an escape than to actually escaping the demons that are still haunting you. And both Carmi and Richie have to learn that. Um Carmi, I feel like I relate to him because I mean his from what we saw, his family was always dysfunctional, hence Donna's alcoholism and Mikey's suicide and Richie's behavior and the grief because it was a family business, but like they befriended a lot of scummy landlords and that kind of put a dent in it and caused a lot of generational patterns. And I love what his Anakin African stepfather said later on, and this hit me so well on why I went to CSB. You in order to break
Oh,
patterns, you
for
have to
those of you
break
guys who don't
patterns.
know, CFB is California School for the Blind, so we're visually impaired, as
Yeah,
we mentioned.
yeah. But yeah, that's he and that was good for him to hear, and that he was just trying to, like break a pattern because he was before moved back home, which that's another thing I forgot to mention. He moved back home from his previous job as a prestige five-star restaurant in New York to help run the beef that was that was hanging on by a thread. And that's an understatement because I mean health. When a health inspector finds cigarettes at a
Oh
stovetop,
shit!
that that hanging on by a thread is an understatement. Like even not having enough hot water near a prep area, like that was sort of I mean, she was that was overlooked for many years. And even she was like, and then even she said she's like, yeah, I haven't even delivered the big one yet. And they're like, well, there's a big one? Yeah, there's a pack of cigarettes on the stovetop.
That's hilarious.
That was my favorite scene. Like I was like, oh shit, this like Carmi and Rich literally like there was literally a wrestling match in the kitchen. You know what they say? They always say that football and sports is the way that straight men like let out their anger. Who knew the kitchen was one of them?
That's hilarious.
It is, and you know one of the things that and oh, Natalie has a baby in the third season. And you know what? In the third season is kind of that transitional like I want to have a relationship despite what my mom did. And I really love what Natalie did despite what Donna put her through. You know who she called when she was giving birth?
Who?
She called Donna, Jamie Lee's character, on episode 7 of season 3.
I love that.
And they had a mother-daughter, you know, moment, in the pregnancy room.
The
And
delivery room.
in the delivery room. And I love that. Like I love that her mom, she could still call her despite what she put them through. And like we got to know more of Donna's background, and we got to hear her delivery room stories. That was funny. Jamie Lee has some good comedic timing.
Yes, she does. I love Jamie
She
Lee.
she does. And then later on Carmi makes amends in season 4. And I cried. I cried on that episode. Because he that's when he realized like I haven't I just shut people out. That was my way of grieving. And
I can relate.
yes, see,
I did
that's
that a
what
lot.
you will love it because of that. Because he went he grieved not just his brother's death, but he grieved what his mom put him through, and he felt like fixing that was it was nearly impossible. That before he felt like in order for him to get his life together and not become that, it's like Lee said earlier, is to break those patterns and
Hmm.
to make something of himself. So that's why he went to, culinary school, worked at different like restaurants in Paris, Scotland, New York, like these prestige restaurants. But he also did it because it was another reason why he did it is because his brother Mikey, which was his older brother, Carmi's the youngest, Natalie's in the middle. His older brother Mikey, when they were kids, they always cooked together. But when they
Oh,
got older, it started to become very competitive where Mikey would not let him work at the beef.
oh, damn.
So
Like a brotherly, like a brother rivalry, kind of.
yes. And the thing is, there's a prequel thing. Well, actually, Mikey is in that episode I talked about with Donna's like meltdown, and then this prequel thing called Gary. I don't know if you've seen it. It's also on Disney Plus. It's the prequel, sort of another prequel special to where Mikey and Richie go to Gary, Indiana, hence the title Gary, to I believe to get or to pay some money or to get some stuff for the restaurant. And Mikey has a drinking problem and is
So it's well, as they say, and I know this, so I'm not going to get too vulnerable on this show because in case certain people listen to this, but I can relate with addiction. I have it both sides of my family, my mom and my dad's side. It is kind of hereditary. Like addiction isn't like it
it
is a
is.
gene because it's a disease. It's like, I mean, I'm not gonna. Well, I don't want to say this because it's kind of controversial. Well, I'll say it. It's like up there with like I believe it's kind of like mental illness in a way, like
Yes.
addiction, because you kind of form similar patterns that you would if you were severely depressed. Because in a way, what do you do when you're severely depressed? You kind of self harm, and in a way, addiction is self harm because you're putting bad shit in your body on purpose in a way, or because you can't help it. So like,
Yes.
yeah, so that's my 2 cents on that from having experience with it in my family. You know what I mean? So
Oh yeah, same here. And with Mikey, we saw that where he had too much to drink and he was great at first, like he was funny and everything. But
yeah,
then, when they say about alcohol being truth serum?
that's what I was about to say. It's like, what do they? What's the actual saying for that? Oh, drunk thoughts are for sober truths. Like, there's an actual saying, but you know what I
And
mean.
he let them out in front of dozens of people at that bar. Like
Yeah,
he went off at his childhood best friend Richie and pretty much like admitted how he's jealous of him, that he's successful and he's going to be a dad, but he kind of used what Richie went through. um which another thing, we didn't see a back story with Richie because Richie sounds like he went through a lot.
that's what I don't
Just
like about 8 to 10
mhm.
episode counts. Sometimes is that you can't flesh them out as much. Because I know that's how many episodes are in the seasons. I believe season 1 and 5 have 8, and then the rest have 10. Right?
Exactly. Yes, they do. And I thought, and the thing is, we don't see like we see it with Tina,
Like
who's
flashback
the,
episodes.
yeah, but she's like the one of the workers. But I wish we would have seen that with Richie because like, you can tell he went through a lot with his own family. And like, he kind of said it when he was drunk. And then Mikey threw it at him and said, well, because your father left you, you're going to do the same thing to your kids. So why even bother being a father at all?
That shit's cold. Damn.
And that was literally from when the episode was filmed, according to the show notes. That was a couple days before he died.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
Richie, I think, feels guilty for slapping him. But Mikey said later on, no, not Mikey, Carmi said later on, like, no, you don't have to feel sorry. It's not your fault. I mean, let's be honest, he had it coming.
Yeah.
Like, that's why, like, Mikey is a very interesting character.
Yeah.
Like,
They say, as they say, hurt people hurt people.
yes, like those who like go through that, who are dealing with mental health, they they're assholes and dicks, but they've been hurt so much that their resort is to like hurt other people to the point where they can't hurt anyone else. What's next? They hurt themselves because
Exactly,
they
which
know
is
no
so
one
sad.
gives a It is, and like I felt bad for him because even in the Christmas episode, um, Donna's on Lee on again the one that I was talking to you about. They before Donna's meltdown, they were getting into it, and the last thing Lee said was like, "All you do is sit at home, live at home, and mooch off your mom, and you do nothing because you're nothing. You're not
Damn.
use. You're not worth even living." Like
I
he
mean,
no,
at that point, it was kind of true. Like, I mean, did he feel like Mikey internalized that, and that's why he took his own life? Maybe.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, because when Lee said that, he was about to cry,
oh,
and and when he was about to cry, like Lee was like, "Oh, you're gonna cry," like they would go there, like they would
I
kick
can
you when you're
relate with
down.
that. I have not.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not toxic. I feel like family is like that sometimes, where they like to fuck with you. Sometimes they say shit that are like really cruel. But I feel like I feel like all family at times do that at one point or another. Like if you're fighting with somebody, you know what I mean? Especially when you're a
yeah,
sibling. When you're a sibling, like I've, not actually like I've meant it, but my siblings and I have threatened to kill each other before, or like kick each other's asses and stuff. But you never mean it. Like it's just like the worst. Like family are the ones that can hurt you the most out of anyone in life. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
yeah,
And that you see, that's like where if you come from a dysfunctional family,
yeah,
this show relates to you in a deeper way. Like you don't have to be a chef to get it.
yeah.
You'll
Just
relate
have a
to it in a
family to get it,
yeah.
or a
And like
toxic
I
family, I guess.
exactly. Or if you're dealing with grief, like from a lost family member, or like for me, if you have to break a pattern to break certain patterns in order to like make choices to better yourself. I mean, you have to do what you got to do, and you don't have to feel bad for it. Like
Exactly.
you know, you love your family, you just don't know how to love them. When you thought the way of loving them was doing the choices you did, and I love that both of them like apologized and said, "I'm sorry. I don't want to hurt. I don't want to push you away because I'm hurting."
Exactly.
Um, and um Forget this. Okay, this I will. I mean, it's not really a spoiler because that is the plot of season 5. When Carmi reflected on himself and came to terms with everything, he realized that he doesn't want to be a chef.
I like that. I mean, hell,
Mhm.
that's what did they say? Like, don't always turn your greatest passion into a job because then it'll just feel like a job and it won't be fun or anything like that. You know what I mean? So,
And that's exactly what happened. So
yeah.
he left his, and you know what? I thought they would have been Endgame. Maybe they are. Sydney, who's well, not Quinta's sister.
Io. I don't know how
Yeah,
to pronounce her last name, but Io.
yeah. Io is in this season in charge of the bear.
By the way, I love her. If you guys have not watched Bottoms, which is a queer movie, she's in it.
Yes,
It is. She
she
was also on
is.
SNL a couple times. She plays Quinta's sister. Oh, shit, what is her name on the
Um,
show? Oh my god, what is
Abbott.
her? Yeah, what's her name on Abbott? Do you remember?
I
Hold on.
forgot.
Hold on. Hold on. What is Janine Teague's half sister's name on Abbott Elementary? She plays Alicia Teagues on Abbott Elementary,
Oh
and
right, Alicia. That's her.
that's Sydney from The Bear.
That okay. This is how you can know they're good actresses or actors when you don't recognize them.
But I think you also seen these episodes before you watched The Bear, so that could also be why too. And she's only
Yeah,
one episode in Abbott, so I could see why you wouldn't
yeah,
remember.
yeah. But that's a black chef leading the restaurant
I
like
love that.
that. I love that. And she, it was overwhelming because even the restaurant was still like there were still
New.
major kinks and oh, the Chicago storm. You know how do you have family that lives in Chicago?
No, I
Because
had family that lived in the Illinois area. Like my grandma, my mom, rest in peace. She told me a story about a time when there was a tornado and she stepped on a nail trying to get to shelter. Like it went through her entire foot. Like there's
That's
been major storms
yes.
in Illinois. So
Yes, that was my next question. So I was gonna say, like, isn't it's known for like storms, isn't it? Because um
tornadoes are rare, but they can happen. They get really bad blizzards. Really, I mean, it's called the Windy City. It is called the Windy City for a reason.
yeah, because the season 5 opens with a really big rainstorm that causes a flood in the restaurant
Oh damn!
on the night, and it picks up literally the day after episode 10 of season 4, where
Also, timeline
Carmen
wise, do you know how long the 5 seasons make up? Like 1 year, 2 years, three? Like,
uh I think they make up, if I'm not
or is it
mistaken,
1 year a season? Like most shows used to be.
no, it's not even a year. It's actually, I believe, weeks.
Oh damn! I don't know if
Yeah.
how I feel about that actually. I don't like when
Yeah.
long shows, like Good Trouble, for instance, which we'll get to. The whole show takes place over 1 year, and I'm like, a lot of shit happens in that that's kind of unrealistic.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Like that was my like criticism of it that I'll talk about in the video that I'll upload. But which that the what we were talking about, the the videos, like the solo video minisodes.
Yeah,
That's
he's
one of my
recorded some minisodes for you guys for the bear.
yes. And in one of the draft minisodes, I talk about how everything is basically all in a month,
Yeah, the
I
pacing of it
believe.
you have a problem with.
Yeah, because like I was about to say, season 5 episode 1 literally let leaves takes picks up where it left off, which was either the day of, actually it is the day of when on episode 10 where Carmi tells Sydney and Richie that he's hanging up his apron and leaving the bear and like only being there to help out, which she does, but leaving it in charge to Sydney and Natalie and
I
Richie.
love that.
And that's when I guess the next episode, which in in network language, what I call freeform language, could have been like, I don't know, season 3B or something. Or like a B of a season.
Yeah, the second part of a season.
Yeah. Where okay, it's the day of, but there's a rainstorm coming, a really bad one. And well, the beef is um or the bear is flooding, and they have until the next day to get everything clean because they have a huge service with a couple of critics and like prestigious people coming to dine with them.
Ooh.
And yeah, and all I have to say is there was some growth, because if this were to happen in season 1, it really would not have gone well. But it went well, and that's when the surprise comes. But speaking of surprises, because we're doing it again, how and
Oh
mental
my gosh.
health.
I want to let you know something real quick.
Yeah.
We've been recording for an entire hour. We've only talked about one show.
See, this is why I don't think we can do this just for 1 hour. We cannot do this for just 1 hour. I'm sorry, but it
I
has to
just
be at
looked at
least two to three.
I just looked at the time. It says we're at an hour already. We already reached an hour.
Yeah, we're not gonna do this all in 1 hour. I'm sorry, but this is too good of a podcast for just for it to be 1 hour. If y'all want an only 1 hour show, watch a
That'll be
talk
a
show.
mini-sode. No, that'll be a
Yeah,
mini-sode probably.
yeah, that'll be a mini-sode. But an hour, I'm sorry, but an hour is just like a
I know.
bad
I didn't even
show.
realize that we were filming for an hour until I looked at the
I was
form.
about
I'm
to
like, oh my
ask.
gosh.
I mean, hell, I mean, just ask the trio of only murders in the building. So you could take away this one, by the way. We both love Only Murders. That's how we bonded over.
Yeah, that's
But
literally. So when we met, season 3 of the show was airing, which is that's how long ago that we've been
and
friends.
Meryl Streep joined the cast.
Yes, and Paul Rudd and a lot of other A-listers that we like.
This show, for instance, season 1 had a lot of A-listers. So you could tell us about the A-listers when you tell us about the show.
I will. It's on my honorable mentions list.
I mean, yes. So, um, Only Murders deals with it's a sitcom murder mystery. It's like drama actually. It's more of
Well, it's
a
more of a comedy drama than sitcom.
yeah, but it's actually even more of a comedy. Even some would even say as a sitcom but yeah, it's a comedy drama and mystery.
Luis quotes this show so many times, it's crazy. What's your favorite line that you quote? The one about Mabel, where they're looking through the apartment.
So my favorite Mabel line is, does this do y'all want do y'all want to check do y'all want to go through a dead guy's apartment and go through all the shit? Sounds like an afternoon.
Yeah, he quotes that all the time. And also, this sends the investigation into a whole nother level. Like that one was
Yes. Yes. I don't think we have an Oliver quote, do we?
that is Oliver.
No, that's Charles.
Oh yeah. Oh shit, because Oliver is one of my. It's for me. My ranking is Mabel, Oliver, and then Charles. Hold on, Oliver. I don't know, but he's fucking hilarious. I think the ones that make me laugh out loud the most is Mabel and Oliver lines. By the way.
Yeah, my favorite is Mabel. I feel
Well,
like I
I
relate
think
to
we're biased. We're biased.
yeah. Well, because of Selena, but like I love Mabel's like outspokenness, and honestly, I
Mm-hmm.
relate to her. But I also relate to Charles with the social anxiety.
Yeah, well, I do too,
Um.
obviously.
Yeah. I. Yeah. Me too. I relate to that or her. Um. I
Especially since you guys were the same age when the show started. She was what, 29?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, she was 29. But like Charles has the social anxiety, and I developed that when I lost my vision. Um,
Same here.
and I just, you know, developed getting used to feeling alone. And I
Yeah.
related that to Charles. Um, and Oliver, of course, the creative and the comedic parts of it.
God, he's
And
fucking
I love
hilarious.
he is. Um, so I love him. I mean, I love that about him. By the way, May 2026 has been a sad.
Yeah,
It's turned out to be.
Martin Short lost his daughter at the beginning of the year to
Yeah, may
suicide.
she rest in peace.
Yeah.
That's the fact that may he or she rest in peace has become like
I mean, it happens
almost.
every year, but I feel like this year really took the cake for
I
people
think
people
it
that we know, at
has.
least.
Yeah, and like I feel like it's been happening too much to the point where like May she RIP has been a thing we've been saying almost every on a daily basis. So
Yeah, like DeVay
that's
Chase, Catherine
yeah.
O'Hara, James Vanderbeek, might maybe Nancy Guthrie. I mean, it's kind of obvious at this point, sadly. Like, and a few
I
other
thought
people.
yeah.
Hillary Duff's
Wait, did it
on-screen dad.
yeah, but didn't Nancy Guthrie it wasn't announced that she passed though?
I think. I mean, it's assumed
You
considering
sent
that
me
from
the
the
video, that's
get-go.
why.
I mean, considering that from the get-go, it's been said that she's on like like meds that if she doesn't take, she'll
Yeah.
die, and she's been missing since February. I mean, it's kind of
Yeah.
obvious, sadly.
But I was gonna say maybe you since I've been talking, it's you could tell us about Only Murders and tell
Okay,
us
so
about
Only
it.
Murders is a show co-created by one of the stars himself, Steve Martin, and someone else. I can't remember his name. It's a show about true crime,
Oh
as they say, aficionados living in New York
yeah.
City. What were you saying?
I was gonna say I believe it's John Hoffman.
Yes, John Hoffman and Steve Martin co-created this because Steve Martin came up with the idea about true crime people who decided to start their own podcast, but not after the crime is solved, in the process of investigating the crime. And they came up with like crazy characters. So it takes place in the Arconia, which is a fictional. It's based off a real building, obviously, but a fictional historic building in New York. I believe the Upper East Side, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
And
it
it
is the Upper East
follows
Side.
Mabel Mora, played by Disney legend. Hopefully, she gets that eventually. Selena Gomez. Oliver Putnam, played by Martin Short, and Charles Hayden Savage, played by Steve Martin. And the first season focuses on the murder investigation of Tim Kono. And they decide to start a podcast called Only Murders in the Building. And every season focuses on one investigation. And then the finale, we find out who did it. And usually the season ends with a cliffhanger setting up the next season. And I just love how it blends mystery, drama, and comedy perfectly. And the show works because of the chemistry of the trio, I think. And it just, so good. And I love it. Like, I've been watching since season 2 because I binged the first season and I watched live since season 2 onward. And me and Luis met, I think, when the last 3 episodes were airing. So
Yes,
it kind of bonded our friendship.
it did. I watched, and not that I'm like trying to compete or one up you. It's just
I
it
heard about it,
happened.
but I didn't get to it till season 2.
Oh, I got about it since the trailer was announced. That was like my most shows that I would if you were to met me in 2021, literally my most anticipated shows at the time were um Only Murders in the Building. And I watched it since season 1 and I was pretty hooked on it. It reminded me of other shows like Housewives, Pretty Little
Desperate
Liars.
Housewives, not Real Housewives. I always get
uh,
confused when he talks about that.
Yes, Desperate Housewives. Because and I mean, hell, Eva Longoria was in season 4, so but like there was just so many like just it was so comforting. It was a blend of like modern with nostalgia and like it just like and mystery, like, and it covered loneliness and how we, especially during the time, mind you, this came out in 2021, like we were starting to head
When the
out of a
world was
pandemic.
still, it was still like
Yeah,
I was still doing distance learning in school. So
exactly. I think I remember like Soledad was the last town to fully go into in-person learning. I think like some schools, and only a certain number of students can come to a classroom. And even
yeah,
once
that's how
they,
it was for me too.
yeah, and if you were not vaccinated, you had to do distance learning. But with that, talk about how and so they never covered the pandemic. They never like referenced it, but it
Which I'm
still
kind
felt
of glad.
relatable.
Not every show has to do
Yeah,
that, and it did
and it
kind of get overwhelming because I'm like, I watch TV to escape. I don't need to be reminded what's going on outside.
exactly. And but they still talk about feeling lonely and
Especially in a big city,
finding
because that can
closure.
happen.
Exactly, it can. And especially living in a prestige Upper West Side like apartment where like people are doing their own thing and they don't have time for people like us, to say the least.
Yeah. Also, let's talk about the ensemble. Not even the 3 characters. Uma, Bunny. What's the one that always said like cusses? The older lady that was friends with Bunny. I can never remember her name, but I love her.
Yeah, that's Uma, isn't it?
Oh, that is Uma. No, I thought Uma was the gut milk lady.
Oh no, that's Ursula.
Okay, yeah, Uma. I love Uma.
Me too.
I kind of hope that she becomes a dead body one of these days because we know what this means. When you die, you see more of them than you would if they're alive.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? That's a transition right there. Can you tell us the just the show alone, the people who they had, whether they're victims or just like
Okay,
they must have had a good budget because a lot of these talent are A-list people.
Jane Lynch, who people know as Sue Sylvester from Glee, or the stepmother in Another Cinderella Story. She's also in Wreck-It Ralph, Ralph Breaks the Internet. Like, she's a really, really fantastic comedic actor.
Who
We
was a murder
have,
victim.
yes, in season 4. We have Melissa McCarthy, Eva Longoria, Zach Galifianakis, if you know the Hunger Games, what? The Hangover trilogy.
The Hangover.
Um, uh,
Oh, and
Paul
Lilo and
Rudd.
Stitch.
Oh, he was in Lilo and
Yes.
Stitch?
Zach Galifianakis. Yes, he played Jumba.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Uh, in the remake Lilo and Stitch.
Okay, we have Paul Rudd. We have oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Oh, Tina Fey, obviously. Um,
Who
there's a
is
lot
gonna
that I
be
can't even
the
remember. That's how.
who's gonna Yeah, but I have to mention this because it's very important. Because for season 6,
Oh yeah,
Tina
season 6.
Fey
We're going
is
to
the
London, and Tina Fey is gonna be the murder victim,
yes,
Cindy Kim,
exactly.
which
So
I'm
we're gonna
excited because
see
we haven't seen her since season 3, right?
yes, season 3. So that does, I mean, I think that's Hollywood. Like we see get guests that go and cut or like that go and cut back. So and when they become murder victims, they come back for like a reoccurring character.
Yeah, Jane
Like
Lynch said it herself. Like she was actually excited to be killed because that means we get to see her more than we did if she was alive.
Yeah, and we are gonna see that with Tina Fey. Although with Tina Fey, she was already reoccurring on season 1 and 2 as as the
Specifically,
rival
season one.
podcast. Yeah, because she was the reason why they started their own podcast. But then she became like the rival, like what do they call it, protagonist
The antagonist, yeah.
or
Because the
antagonist,
trio are the protagonists.
and she tried to frame them for Bunny's murder, and and she even said it when she came back for season 3. She quote because it was a year time jump, she got canceled,
Well,
and
it's inevitable considering that she wasn't like. So they all bonded over a podcast that she hosted called "All Is Not Okay in Oklahoma," and she was investigating a murder that didn't even happen. It was the fake death of her assistant because she was getting out of a shitty situation. So like, yeah, I'm wondering if she got a cancel for that, and also because she's a
she
shitty
probably
person as well.
did.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she probably did because if you add that, like and I highly doubt this happens to. I mean, but when it comes to the internet, and this is something that's going to be a continuing theme, you can't lie to your audience
Well, she didn't
because
know. She didn't know.
I mean, but still, like, there's
Yeah.
receipts. Like, there's people would like be like, okay, even if you didn't know, how come you couldn't
Right.
look up records? How come? And once you knew, which she did know, she did admit it that she knew, but none. That's why she gave her the job and kind of like did this. I forget what you call it, but like the per quo thing, for Poppy. And I mean, she knew. Uh,
Yeah.
that there's how can you not? I'm sorry, but as if you call yourself a journalist, you're supposed to know this shit. How can you go 10? How can you go like 10 years without knowing this shit if you've been podcasting for so long? But that's just my
Exactly.
opinion. And like, yeah, and people won't take kindly to that, and you're gonna have to account for the stuff you even did. Then you try and like, if she didn't try to frame the trio for Bonnie's murder, they would have let it go. But if you
Probably.
add that, um, and like the stuff she's done behind the scenes with her staff, um, they're not gonna take it easy on you. We're not as they should. It's like basically she went through that Ellen DeGeneres moment, which we were fans of, and we know why we're not as much anymore.
Yeah, I was
Because
actually a huge fan of Ellen.
me
Yeah.
too. And when former staff speak out and they have receipts, how can you deny it? How can you look over and be like, "Oh, it was all out of context. Oh, we did." No, it's not out of
Telling people you
context.
can't look them in the eye and like forcing people to get pregnant guests to drink champagne on air to admit that they're pregnant. That's all out of context, but okay. Okay.
Yeah, that we stand with Mimi.
Yes, we love
But
Mariah in this house.
we do. And good for Mariah for not coming back.
Exactly. I think that's her first. No, well, was that her first and only time on there? I can't remember. I think it
They
might have
were
been.
stretched out.
Yeah.
And
Which
whenever she
usually
would
that's the case.
come, yeah, they were stretched out. And when she, the last time I saw her on the show was in 2016, but it was like a second segment. And Mariah kept throwing backhanded comments. Both her and Ellen were throwing backhanded comments at each other. So,
Which I
yeah.
you need to send me that actually. I need to see that.
Yeah. It was about, what was she doing? She was promoting something in
Well, it
2016.
wasn't caution. It wasn't caution because that was 2018.
Yeah.
It
And
might have been a Christmas special or something. I don't know.
yeah. And Ellen kept like throwing like, "Oh, well, you're always late. So I expected you to be on this segment." And she's like, "Well, I may be late, but I give my audience what they need or something." It's just like, and I was like, and
It's kind of
mind you, I was an Ellen fan at the time, and I was like, good for Mimi.
it's kind of giving that Dakota Johnson, which is now a meme, where Ellen's like, "Why didn't you invite me to your party?" And she's like, "I didn't think you liked me." And you can see it in her eyes, like, "Of course I liked you." And she's like, "Bitch, why are you exposing me?" Like that's what her face gave when she's trying to say, "Of course I like you." That's what it kind of what you're telling me kind of reminds me of a little bit.
It does, but yeah. So my question is, what are you looking forward for this next season of Only Murders besides
Well,
seeing
okay,
Tina Fey?
I'm kind of not into the show for the mystery anymore because I know I'm gonna be disappointed if I am. Let's just put that out there. Me and Luis kind of talked about this every like. I feel like the last good reveal was season 2.
Yes, it
And then
was.
season 3 onward has been very disappointing in my
It
opinion.
has.
But I'm not watching the show anymore for the mystery aspect. I'm watching it for the
Mm-mm.
trio, for the guest stars, and for the ensemble, the people that live in the building. So if I go into the show guessing who the killer is and looking forward to the reveal, then I would be disappointed. So yeah.
Well, I said who you're looking for, not who you're not looking for, but
No, that
okay.
is what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to at least a decent
I know.
reveal.
No, yes, exactly. A decent reveal. And you know what else? Giving Mabel an actual love interest.
Actually, no, I don't want that.
Oh, really?
Because after 3 love interests in a row that never came back, I don't want that anymore. I feel like what I want for Mabel is for her to actually run a podcast empire. I feel like that's in her future.
So do I. Like I want her to run one, but
Like
in
I
a way
want her
like
to be like Alex Cooper.
yeah, so do I. And I feel like she wants that, but I feel like she's not sure of it. And I'm being honest, like I get where she's coming from because um I wish we would see her mom again. I want to see that again. And I want to finally see her aunt.
And
And
also, we actually had predictions Eva was going to be her aunt, but then it turned out to
yeah,
be a fictional version of herself. So,
yeah.
you know who I would like? And I'm not just
Who?
saying this because she's a Latina. I mean, let's be honest, it would have to
Well,
be a Latina.
she is Latin. Well, yeah,
No, no,
who?
no, no, that's what I'm saying. Justina Machado. I don't know if that would work,
That could work.
but
That could
I
work.
love Justina Machado, and I feel like she would kill it as Mabel's aunt.
Yeah, like the people for me that I would like as her aunt, well, Eva, we already know she's a fictional. So whoever she was going to be Eva. Um, but who I would want I feel like it would have to be someone that's free spirited because the way they talked about her aunt. So I feel like someone who's free spirited but loves like the mystery of it all. So
I
someone
think
like Anna,
Justina would work. I
yeah,
think.
that's what I'm saying. Justina Machado or Ana Ortiz.
Yes. Okay, we've been talking about this. We said this in the pilot, I think, right? Or was that the scrapped one? I can't remember. We were
One of
talking
them.
about how much we love Ana Ortiz from Devious Maids, is what I know her from. And then
And
I've
Ugly
seen a little bit of Ugly
Betty.
Betty. But I love Ana. She was recently in Apple TV Plus's Imperfect Woman, which I don't recommend because
Yeah.
the ending really disappointed me. I only watched it for Kerry Washington, anyways. But
In here.
Ana was
And
in that
Anna.
recently, and I love Ana Ortiz. So I would love to see her in something else. So yeah.
Yeah, same here. Because on when I subscribed to the Reddit thread, and you know who they wanted as Mabel's aunt?
Who?
They wanted Sofia Vergara and Selma Ramirez. Not Selma Ramirez, Selma Hayek.
I don't know if that would work for either, to be honest. I
Same
don't know why.
here. Yeah, that's why I was like,
Because they have accents, and I can't picture like her aunt. I don't know. I would picture her aunt from being from New York, and if I remember correctly,
yeah.
her thesis is from New York, so it
Yeah,
would
that's
work.
what should be yeah. And then the thing is like Mabel's mom
Didn't have an accent.
didn't. So how are you gonna explain an actress with an accent and Mabel's mom? And she
Like,
said it like
yeah,
it's her sister, not her like sister-in-law. It's her actual sister. So it would only be fair if you like someone like Anna or Justina would fit perfectly.
and it would fit with the age that I feel like her mom is, because Justina could play younger, because I think she's in her 50s, but she could play like early 40s too. And I feel like
And
the
she
Justina,
has
yeah, the
for
Justina that
one
I'm
day at a
picturing,
time.
that's what I'm picturing. The Justina character I'm picturing is from like that archetype is from One Day at a Time. So I feel like that
Yeah,
would work. That character would work for Only Murders.
yeah. But like I bring up Mabel's family because from when we saw her mom, I can tell like her mom was not for her doing a podcast, much less as a career. So I feel like Mabel wants like that's what's holding her back. Like is from having her own podcasting empire is like her mom saying like, "Oh, you're just doing this because you're focused on Tim Kono and Oscar to having like." There's this thing. And forgive me for putting my. I mean, I'm not putting them on blast, but I mean, I don't. Have you seen this happen where like families and maybe especially in our culture where they like use a situation as justification to hold us back?
Yeah.
Like where they're like, no, you cannot become, especially like let's just say if we had a friend that like jumped off a building and then our another friend got framed for it. would we, and then our parents would be like, you guys went through that. You're lucky you didn't get arrested. If you do this podcast, you're gonna attract more attention. Like using
Which
that
is the
as a
point.
way to shelter us. Yeah.
That's
Mm.
like the point of doing a podcast, is to gain attention, obviously, is to
Yeah,
raise awareness for the case.
yeah, and the thing is like you can tell her mom was overprotective. Like how do you know
Yeah,
that she's not gonna get killed as her being a designer?
exactly. And plus, let's be honest, she lives in New York, so
Exactly. She even said, and like, and then like her mom used language like, "I let you stay there." Like, what?
bitch,
I
I'm in
don't
my
like
late
that.
20s. I'm not
Yeah,
your problem anymore, to be honest. You know?
exactly. Like, and that's why I was like, no, you don't let me. Like, and my family kind of used to use that for a long time, and that they stopped, but sometimes like it slips. Like I let you stay when I was at Hatland. I'll be like, I let you stay the weekend because of that. It's like, excuse me, what? You let me? I'm 23. No, 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 no. Sorry, but with anything, I let you come up here, so don't act like you still have some authority over me. Like I love you, but no.
Exactly.
But yeah, sadly, the reason why we're not listing any nominations because it got nominated but never won anything.
I know. How? It's like every summer. Well, not this year. We're not getting it this summer. I think we're getting it in the fall because they're filming now. But every year, it's always talked about on everything. So I'm like, that just shows that not all the time popularity equals accolades for the show, which is sad.
Exactly. Why is it that the shows we love get are underrated? Same with shows and movies and music.
Exactly.
But speaking of, well, it's not. This was not underrated, which I'm glad that it wasn't. Although I feel like, but speaking of murder, dramedy, mysteries, I'm so desperate to get into Desperate Housewives. And you,
Oh, I love segues like that.
I did too. Especially coming out from the spot, like, and let's talk about we cannot, let's talk about Devious Maze because you're not, this isn't, this is why I got into Devious Maze because of Desperate Housewives. And like, I love shows with, there's like
Okay, and
women of different
also,
backgrounds. And oh,
oh sorry, it's
let's
supposed to be
say,
a it was supposed to be a spinoff, but then Lifetime bought the rights to it. Um,
yeah,
but because I think in the finale, because I haven't seen all of Desperate Housewives, I've only watched the first 12 episodes, but I was told or I found out that um Zoila's daughter is in the finale of Desperate Housewives. So I guess
she's
it's like
not,
as an East. Well, yeah, I read somewhere that one of the
she's
characters is
not.
in. Hold
I,
on.
I don't know where you read that.
No,
And I'm going to,
not like as a like it's a cameo. Like she doesn't talk or anything. Hold on.
no, like, I would no. What I thought would have been what they were going to set it up as a spinoff is when Gabby and Carlos moved to the exact location where Devious Maids took place, which was in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, but yeah, I've seen Devious Maids. I've seen all 4 seasons. My favorite season is season 3. Yes, Devious Maids character Carmen Luna, played by Rosalind Sanchez, who I love, appears in the Desperate Housewives series finale in a clever full circle moment. Her character is introduced as Gabrielle Solis's new gardener, flipping the script on Gabrielle's famous season 1 affair with her own gardener. The connection goes beyond just that cameo. Both hit shows were created by Mark Cherry,
Yeah,
and
that
they
yeah.
essentially share a universe. Even though
See
Eva
that
plays herself in Devious Maids, I think, right?
exactly. No, and it's EP by it, but yeah, she plays herself, and that's the point I was trying to make. Like, Carmen Luna's not Zoila's daughter. Let me just get
No,
that
that's
straight
no. I
right now.
thought Zoila's daughter though was in. That's why I haven't seen the finale of Desperate Housewives, but I know one of the characters was in it though.
But you want to know the other thing? Unless Carmen Luna was silent, They did reference it though, like to give, like I'm not a full egomaniac. To give to they Gabby and Carlos do move to Beverly Hills. Um because Gabby had they launched an like a shopping channel
Oh,
that's
like
based in Beverly.
QVC kind of.
Yeah. And so I could see why it would have been, and it would have been a good like spin-off. Um Especially with Carmen Luna. Like I love Rosalind
I do
Sanchez.
too.
But I guess I don't know. We have to do a deep dive on that because in season one of Devious Means, she went to work for this like, which I don't know how I feel about this portation, but for a gay Latin musician, um, and she was a maid for them for a year. Carmen switched maid jobs. Like out of all the girls, her and Rosie switched a lot of I love Donia, a lot of maid jobs throughout the years. But no, the reason why I bring up Desperate Housewives is because I watched or no, Devious Means. Oh god, I'm gonna be doing because I watched that one before I watched Desperate Housewives. I mean, I did see Housewives when it was on TV, but like I was obviously too young, so I didn't keep up with it as I do now. So like you, I remember Devious Means more than Housewives.
Well,
But
yeah,
I
because
kind
I
of forgot it
watched
was
TV. I
this.
watched TVS Maids as it aired, so with my mom.
Yeah, same here. So that's why like I was more familiar with it. But what I was gonna say is that I love the ensemble of like different women from different diverse backgrounds who do more than what their role is. Like, yeah, they start out as housewives or maids, but they literally solve murders.
Exactly.
Some are artists, some even are lawyers, some become cops. Like they're not just like sitting around like
Drinking wine
pleasing the
and
husband.
cleaning the house. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-mm. Like they you see progressiveness in the seasons. I wish Devious Maids had 25 episodes instead of 13. And I wish season 5 only did not have
There was no
10.
5 seasons.
Oh, I'm sorry, season 4
And
had.
it got canceled on a cliffhanger when one of the characters go missing. It was at a wedding and they did a 1 year time jump, right? And there
Yeah,
was something.
Marisol.
Yeah, I was so mad. I'm like, what the frick?
Me
Like,
too.
come on. And
They
season four
canceled it.
is one of my favorite seasons too.
I think they canceled it because Lifetime was going in that like documentary direction that we're seeing now,
Which I don't
from
like
what
though.
I read. I've seen here enough Freeform is doing it. But
Because
anyway.
Lifetime had such a good lineup. Like I also watched Drop Dead Diva. I didn't see the whole thing, but I loved Drop Dead Diva.
And then Mary
And
kills people.
yes, and there was another one too. I think that was it. The ones that I watched on Lifetime, but yeah, I was so mad. Oh,
Me too.
Unreal, was that on Lifetime?
I think it was.
Yeah, I watched that one too. And there
Yeah.
was
And then
another one. Hold on, you keep talking. I'll look up the scripted content that they had.
but yeah, to Desperate Housewives. So I started like fully binge watching it like a couple years back. I love it. Obviously there's some problematic things that I haven't, but it's what it is, it's 2004. So it starts off with the
My birth year.
mystery. Wait, what year?
My birth year.
Yes. Oh, you guys are the same age, only a couple months. Well, the pilot was shot like the month you were born, but
Yeah.
because they did. We have to express how much we miss pilot season. I remember we talked about on our pilot, no pun intended, but I miss pilot season because it would get like sometimes some channels would air a pilot a couple months before to see how we would like react to it and to give us like a preview, which what they called it, of what we were gonna see, and it just like kept us at ease for the next one. Like I like that.
Yeah, and also they would announce what pilots were in development and what the shows were about, so it would get people hyped as well.
Yeah, and to this day, the Desperate Housewives pilot is my favorite. It it's like if I excuse me, I have a list of 5 favorite pilots. That's being one of them. And like, so the show is basically centered around Mary Alice Young, who sadly takes her own life, and that's literally the first like 3 5 seconds of the pilot because of a note. Well, later on, discovered a note she received from a neighbor that she knew a secret they've been hiding about a what is reference to an illegal adoption because her son Zach wasn't her real son. And I think she killed his real mom. Well, the mom was a psycho, but well, okay. See, this is how time really changed because that would never happen today because the mom was a recovering addict and they demonized her for it, and they just like I mean, they took the kid and raised them, but without any legal paperwork or anything.
Yeah.
If you know what yeah.
Oh, I got a
And
list of some of the former Lifetime shows that I remember watching and loving, and I think a lot of them got canceled because of the direction shift. We have Witches at the East End, which I watched with my mom. That was a good one. Unreal, which I was right. That was on Lifetime. Drop Dead Diva, but I think that completed. Like, it didn't get canceled. And then there was Army Wives. I don't know if you ever watched that. It's kind of like Desperate
I
Housewives,
started
but it
it.
took place on an army base. I have that on my list, actually.
Yeah, I did too. I started it back when Hulu was on its own. By the way, I
Joey
have good
Divigo
news.
is in that, by the way.
Yeah, by the way, I have good news. The Good Wife is on Audio Vault, so I just downloaded it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to be reacting to that, you guys, if you want to check that out. It should be
Yeah.
out by the time this episode comes out.
Yeah. But to Desperate Housewives, like it's a feel good um dramedy show. Like, yeah, there's some problematic things, like what Danny was saying about Gabby like having an affair with the gardener. Let me just
He
say
was
the gardener.
17.
Actually, he's 15, not 17.
I thought he was 17 because he was getting ready for
No,
college,
he's
remember?
15. Oh no, he's 15.
That's gross. Well,
He even no,
obviously,
he
that guy was not an actual teenager, so that's why I don't really view it as problematic, even though it is. Because if Eva Longoria was really kissing a teenager, that would have been really weird.
yeah, see, that's what I mean. Like that type of like it was supposed to be like for comedy. They were trying to make it funny and like very like spicy for its
Kind of
time. Like,
was.
yeah. And it was funny, I will admit it was funny to see that. Like my favorite scene. How far did you get to it? Did you get to the part where that
I watched up until the mom found out about it, so I watched that whole storyline.
oh, so you saw when the little girl like
The
was
shoes beat
like
up. Yeah, she caught them, and then she
I
started
love
blackmailing her
that.
with a new bike, and she's like, "I don't know how to ride a bike." She's like, "So teach me." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
Like I love that little girl. Like, girl, you're smart. You because she was trying. Sometimes they kiss a friend, sometimes they kiss a name. She's like, like
She was trying to milk
the,
Gabby for everything as she was.
she was,
Yeah.
and like, oh, I love that they were not only one, but two, but three LGBT um characters. Although, remember what I told you about Catherine?
Yeah,
What
the
they did?
Bioranger storyline.
Yes, and let tell me, what do you think about that? And the shows that you watch, what do you think when they do that? Like, what's your first reaction when you see that?
Well, bi erasure is a pet peeve of mine, considering I am bi. I hate when
Yeah,
shows forget, like they think there's either straight or gay, and I hate that. I guess that's how a lot of people were back in the day, but I feel like we're more evolved now. Like you can like both genders. I feel like that's why I don't really like labels. At the same time, labels are important. I understand, but because of that, you feel trapped to identify a certain way when you could just love who you want to love. Whatever. That's beyond the point. I do hate though when like in shows we have a who we see as a straight character suddenly like fall in love with the same sex character, and then all of a sudden they're gay. I'm like, that isn't that bisexuality? I don't know.
yeah,
It's
I
just a pet
said
peeve
that
of mine.
too. They did that with Molly Ringwald's character on Secret Life. Like, she's like, "Oh, I knew I was gay. Like, I was married, but I always felt like, okay, maybe that's just me. Maybe it's, but when you're gay or you're bi, because if you were gay, hello, this is why I'm not married. Like,
Yeah.
you
Okay.
would
I'm
not go
also
through
not
the
putting. We're not putting
marriage.
anything on people who are born in religious families who feel like they
Yeah,
have to marry, like an opposite, like someone of the opposite sex, even though they are clearly gay. We're not saying that because that's a whole different
yeah,
scenario. We're
it
talking
is.
about people who like are really bi, but then all of a sudden say they're gay just because their whole lives they've liked men. For instance, I'm talking about a woman. Their whole lives they
Yeah,
like men, and then all of a sudden they fall in love with a woman. That's bisexuality, people. That's not or pansexuality. That's
yeah. We're
not.
talking about the and we're talking about the writing of the show. Sorry, I forgot to
Yeah, not
continue.
real life. That's different. That's
Yeah.
different. Like I will die on this hill that Steph Adams Foster was bisexual, not a lesbian. I will
Yes.
continue to say this because you have to have some form of love for Mike to not only fall in love with him, but then like you had plenty of time to be like, Mike, this isn't for me. I like women. Let's not get married.
Yeah.
But they were at least married for at least 5 years to have a 5-year-old son by the time her and him get divorced. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is with well, Steph was more well anyway, with Steph it was religion, but
Yeah,
even
that was
then,
more
like,
religion.
yeah, but with Anne, that one again, I don't blame it's more of the writing because what they did before she came out as like lesbian, they gave
Paired
her
her up
that
with a lot of
story.
men, right?
Yeah, after the divorce, she dated two other men. Hell, she got pregnant by another one.
Yeah, she has the Amy and what's the annoying sister's name again?
Ashley.
Yeah, they have a half sibling, right?
Yeah, they do. Fuck George Jurgens, but anyway,
I
he
think he's
tried to.
funny though, but you know,
He is. It's just
he's better than Dan Scott, that's for sure.
yeah, he lied to them about getting a vasectomy. Like I guess he didn't get, or but basically, the lie was like, oh, he is. They were prone to believe that Robbie was was their child, not a half sibling, until like the end of season 5, which that's promising. But anyway,
Yeah.
anyway, as for Housewives, okay, so I want to get to the things that I like and that I don't like. Okay, what I like was the spiciness, the dramedy, and the mystery, and the men. Okay, let's talk about the men on both. How like Mark Cherry knew, and also he was
Well,
gay,
he's
by the
gay,
way,
so.
or he is gay, but he knew how to choose really hot men and women, especially hot men, both on
Well, let's
Housewives,
be honest.
both
Shows
on
on network
TV's
TV,
mains.
they're known for having hot people.
They are, but every season there was one hot man after the other. Like literally, I just like if I mean hell, I fell for Remy Delator, Ethan, I forget his last name, um, Ernesto, and he was older, so that's a
John Metcalf, who plays John Roland, or is that his real name? John too? I can't remember.
Jesse Metcalf.
Jesse Metcalf. There you go.
Um, exactly, John Rowland, Andrew Vanderkamp.
Let's be honest. Doug Savant, who plays Tom Scavo. I like older men too. So.
Me too. Yeah.
Who he's gay in Melrose Place, by the way. I think I told you that.
Oh yeah, you did. Oh, are you still watching it?
No, I'm gonna be reacting to Beverly Hills 90210. Remember?
I thought you started it. Well, either way, don't forget to watch his reactions on 90210 if you'll have a good dramatic throwback.
Well, they're not out yet. I'm still doing
Oh, well.
from Prison Break, Sweet Magnolias, which is a small town show about friendship. If you guys like those kind of shows, Yellowstone, The Good Wife, and Revenge, and then coming soon, The Bear and Breaking Bad.
Oh, Paul Young.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but Paul Young gave that like mysterious, like edgy, um, like side of him that just like I don't know, just that just made put my mind at ease. Plus, I
Oh,
feel
there's an
so
obvious
bad
one.
for him. What?
Terry Hatcher's love interest. What's his name again?
Mike?
Yeah, Mike Delfino. He's gorgeous.
He is. He actually is on Devious Maids as Marisol's love interest.
I love when creators love working with certain people, so they recast them in other things.
They do. I love James Denton, who's Susan's on again, off again husband.
And they're actually really good friends still to this day, by the way, as well.
I know. And they have a podcast, by the way, Desperately Devoted. Don't forget to check it out.
I love Terry Hatcher. I feel like people said she
I
was
do too.
a bitch on set, but I don't believe that. If a lot of them still talk to her, I'm like, maybe just Nicolette and her had a problem. That doesn't mean the whole cast. So I don't know.
But then you gotta remember, and this is the sad part. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was letting you talk.
No, I was gonna say, when I read with a lot of TV shows, well, both what I read and what I see, like every single successful show that we watched or grew up on, sadly, the secret to it was a really toxic environment and
And it wasn't
Housewives
always
was
the
one of
well,
them.
the cast was, but it was because they probably felt pitted against each other, which that's how it was with One Tree Hill.
Yeah,
Shannon Doherty, and Jenny Garth had a feud on 90210 that even got physical, and it wasn't because they actually didn't like each other. It was
by the
because
way,
the
R.I.P.
media,
Shannon Doherty.
yes, the media pitted them against each other, and even the storylines pitted their characters against each other. So then it bled into real life, and they had a feud in real life to the point where they fired Shannon because the cast didn't want to work with her. So like the media also contributes to the toxic environment as well, not just the people
They
on set.
do. That's what shocks me that I want to be part of the media because of that.
Especially in the
Um,
90s and early 2000s, it was
yeah,
terrible.
it was. Britney Spears.
Uh, yeah, Kesha.
Gosh, I see again. This is why again it shocks me that I wanted to be on TV because I hated that about like press people is that like they do that and then they'll try to build a story or they'll ask really silly questions to get you to react a certain way
I hate
and
when people
then
ask silly questions, like not funny questions. There's a difference between funny and silly, like stupid ass questions that are like gonna piss the person off or get a
exactly
reaction,
and then
or
because there's
just like
someone
where it shows they didn't research either. I hate questions where it shows they didn't do their job. I hate those.
yeah I did too and then what would happen is that they would ask the questions and usually it would be during like sweeps which basically is TV's uh they would
It's
say
like
like
when they want the big ratings. Like so,
they do
for instance, I do know about some episodes of Desperate Housewives that fell into sweeps week. So like the tornado episode, I believe was a sweeps episode.
yeah
The one where they get held up at gunpoint at the store, was that a sweeps episode? I can't remember.
I think it was. I had to look.
So all the
Yeah,
major episodes where a character dies, a big reveal comes, those are usually sweeps episodes. And then for
but
broadcast TV, it's either controversial guests
yeah,
or holiday themed episodes
or like really
or
or like I was saying, really silly questions. And what they
yeah,
do because what would happen is that hosts from like TMZ, Extra, and Access Hollywood,
oh
which by
TMZ.
the way, exactly, and may Access Hollywood rest in hell.
Yeah,
Um,
because they had a lot of the coverage on Taylor that they didn't show Taylor in a good light.
Exactly. So what they would do is they would go in the Ellen show studio, like in the audience, and then obviously record the reaction of the guests reacting to Ellen's questions, and it'd be like, "Oh, so and so had a really powerful reaction on the show." Like, Taylor.
They would
Speaking of Taylor
they
Swift,
would clickbait.
yeah, like her Speaking Now era, the press was brutal. Like, how did she not?
That's
What was
where
her
that
name?
that's where that interview clip of Ellen like asking um that one question where she was like, my publicist told me not to blank. And she's like, because she was asking her about her dating life. That's when the dating life question started, was during her Speak Now era.
That, yeah, that, and when she scared her and caused her to fall,
Like
like
fall
in the
in a tiled
how did
bathroom.
how did she not get bruised? Did she look like bruised, like hurt after
No, it
that?
was hard to tell because it was through the point of view of a security camera, so you couldn't really tell.
Oof, like yeah, that. And Ellen to this day thinks it's funny. I was like, girl, I cannot
Maybe it's funny if they're
feel.
sitting down and you scare them, but
Yeah,
when the person's standing up and you cause them to fall or bump into something or like, like it's not funny.
it's not like okay, like I love pranks and I love a lot of Ellen's
My
pranks.
favorite Ellen's pranks were like when she would have them go to a store with an earpiece and have them do stupid
Yes.
shit. I just watched the Adele one where she had to go to a Jamba Juice. That shit's
Oh,
funny. But
my
that's
favorite is
different.
yeah, that's different. Even the scary ones going to a haunted house, that's fine.
Oh, with Ariana Grande
But
and Andy, yes.
that one, but like when you scare them to a point where like they fall or they
Ooh,
have
wet themselves.
PTSD, like yeah, like Sarah Paulson, you could tell she had PTSD.
I love Sarah Paulson. What a queen.
And she did not want to be scared, and Ellen went for it anyway. I was like, girl,
Yeah.
no, no, no,
Also, to
no.
veer off one a little bit before we get back to it, my favorite one also was when her and Brittany went to the store and they went shopping and they were like, "We're celebrities, we can do what we want." I
I
rewatched that the
love
other
that
day.
one.
And the one where her and Michelle Obama go to CVS, that shit was
Yes.
hilarious. Oh, I
And then
love that.
And then the one that I like is the one with the ear thing where someone goes to like a coffee shop.
She did it with Emma Watson, Chris Jenner. There was somebody else I can't remember.
Yeah,
She did it with a
but
few people.
But my favorite one, this is why this you probably seen it, but this is why it's my favorite. The person at the Starbucks or at the grocery store, they were playing Breathin' by Ariana Grande,
One of my favorite
and
Ariana Grande songs.
Ellen told them to sing it like this, like to sing the lyrics, but like if they were talking to them, like if we were having a
Oh, like
conversation.
recite it, like those pranks where people would text people lyrics and see what they would say.
Yes,
Yeah,
I loved that. And
I thought,
that's a good anxiety anthem, isn't it?
I know. I thought about doing that, texting somebody lyrics and see what they respond with, like
We do that.
picking a random song and just texting them the chorus and see what they say. Like, I thought about doing that.
Remember me and you do that.
We should do
Yeah.
that. See, we should see
We have
who
done
like.
that.
Yeah,
We have, but I text you the song link when I do that.
I know. We'll do that, and then we'll know what we're doing, and then we'll just respond with like the next line, or we'll actually respond with the actual song. So yeah.
Yeah, like
Okay, I
the
haven't
guys
talked
on.
about any of my shows yet. I should do that.
Actually, yeah, I'm sorry, but like, um, you know what? I've thought of an idea. So why don't, because talking about the hot men, which they're so bad and they do it so well, I want you to talk about Devious Maids and One Tree Hill and what you liked about them.
Perfect, because
And
I have One Tree Hill on my list, so that's a good segue. I'll start with One Tree Hill. I know we were already
exactly.
talking about Devious Maids, but since I am rewatching that currently when I'm not filming, then I will talk about that. So, One Tree Hill is a show that I fell in love with during the pandemic. It's actually a lot of my favorite shows of all time, believe it or not. I started during that time. Friends, The Office, One Tree Hill, The Vampire Diaries. You know, it was a time we couldn't do anything else, so might as well watch TV. You know what I mean? For those of you
Yes.
who don't know, One Tree Hill is an early 2000s WB because back then that was the channel that ruled teen dramas. It ran from 2003 to 2012 with 9 seasons and 187 episodes. It's set in the fictional small town of Tree Hill, North Carolina, and the ensemble cast includes Chad Michael Murray as Lucas Scott, James Lafferty as Nathan Scott, Hilary
More hot
Burton,
guys and girls,
yes,
but yeah.
Hilary Burton as Peyton Sawyer, later Peyton Sawyer Scott, um, Joy Lenz as Haley James, later Haley James Scott, Brooke Davis, later Brooke Davis Baker, so forth and so on. The original premise focuses on half brothers Lucas and Nathan Scott, who are forced to play on the same basketball team. And the show just focuses on their personal relationships with each other and the people around them. And it's just a really good show. I love, like, I'm currently, as of filming this episode, on episode 5 of my rewatch. And it's just one of my favorite shows. It was one of my first complete series box sets on DVD that I owned that kind of started my collection. And it's just a show that's really got me through difficult times. I'm on my 5th rewatch, I believe. My 3rd rewatch from beginning to end. Hopefully I can finish this one. But I don't know. Brooke Davis, probably top 3 favorite characters of all time on TV. I just love Sophia Bush so much. I told
Especially
this,
a girl with a raspy voice. Sorry,
yes,
didn't
and
spill your secret.
when she joined the LGBTQ plus community, well, publicly, I love her even more now because she's a
Me
fellow
too.
she's a fellow bisexual. So, which I've listened to her podcasts and she compliments women a lot. Like, you can compliment women and be straight, but the way she would do it is I'm like, oh, she's secretly queer. Or not secretly, but not out publicly. And when she
You
came
know,
out publicly, I like, oh, I knew it.
Haley Kiyoko may be lesbian Jesus, but I feel like what did I say, Brooke? Sophia Bush is bisexual Jesus.
Yes. Yes. Because she's
Or bisexual
advocated,
God.
yeah, she's advocated for like on-set regulations for shows because she's sadly not been on one but 2 shows with toxic environments. One was so bad she actually left Chicago PD, which is one of my favorite shows, but I digress.
Yeah.
I don't know, just the show has got me through difficult times, even though it makes me cry a lot because a lot of shit happens. Like, one of the characters loses not 1 but 2 moms. She has a
Peyton.
stalker. She has a stalker brother who's not even her real brother. Her dad's never there. She gets shot during a school shooting. Her best friend beats her up in front of her own house and says she's glad that her mom died. And this is one person, might I add. Like, she
Yeah.
goes through so much and doesn't have therapy. Like, they would talk on the podcast, like, if this was made today, Peyton would definitely be in therapy.
Yeah.
But I just, Montreal is one of those shows that like I was telling Luis when I started my rewatch the other day, like, I've seen this pilot 5 times and it never gets old. It just sucks me in every time and I just want to binge the whole fucking thing because it's so good. yes, there was a toxic creator who sexually harassed the actors on set, which is awful. And he even wrote their real life relationships into the show. Like, for instance, Sophia dated James Lafferty in real life, and that's why that whole sex tape storyline happened, where it found out that Brooke and Nathan made one when he was dating Peyton. That's because they were dating during the time. Hell, Lucas and Brooke even got together in the show because they were together in real life. And I read this recently, but Hillary was refusing to talk to the creator, so he literally wrote himself into an episode as the record
Oh
store owner
yeah.
guy, just so he can. And he literally made them hug in the storyline just so he can fuck with her. And I'm like, wow, talk about ego tripping. But I can't get enough of the show. I just love it. I don't know.
Didn't hear. It's so
Um,
comforting though. It isn't
it
it.
is
It's so
comforting.
comforting.
It is. You know, a lot of crazy shit happens. I think it's the vibe, the small town vibe, that
Yeah.
I think is what makes the show so successful. Even though, which we found out later, it was on the bubble of cancellation like every year, but it stood the test of time since people knew how good it was.
It was. I think like and like why do I keep saying RIP? But like I was gonna say even when Peyton and Peyton when Hillary and Chad
Chad
left,
was
it
fired.
yes, it
It
was still a
still
good
was
show
good.
to watch. Yeah,
Okay, people say that they stopped watching after season 6. I'm like, why? It kind of got better, not because they were off, but I don't know why. Quinn and Clay added something to the later
they
seasons that made
did.
it fresh.
And
And
Julian.
Alex, and Julian and Alex. And I don't like Chase, so I don't feel like he added anything, but I like Mia, even though she was
I'm sorry,
off.
but Chase is hot. I'm sorry, but
Yeah, he
Chase is
might be, but
hot.
he's annoying. I don't think he added anything to
Oh
the
yeah,
show.
no, he is. But like the actor, like he would.
Stephen Coletti, yeah.
Yeah, and
But
I
yeah,
love Mia. I'm sorry.
I love Mia. Yes, Kate Catalano. Like, or no, I just merged the real names. Kate Vogel, who played Mia
Yeah.
Catalano. But I
She
love
has
Mia.
such good music.
Yes, I need to do a deep dive into her. But her and Tyler Hilton on a One Tree Hill tour, by the way, performing all the songs that
They
either they sang on
are.
it or were featured on the show. So I love that.
Yeah. So like they're my like s- last year and this year, one of the things that are like on my most listened to are the One Tree Hill music.
Yeah, When the Star Goes Blue, he sings that all the time.
Yeah, I do.
I still need to get Hillary and Joy's memoirs. And now Sophia, well, Sophia's is kind of different. Hers is more of like a collection of like essays, which I still want to get that because when she came out, I forget what magazine it was, when she did a cover story, and that's when she came out publicly in it. I forget if it was it People? No, it wasn't People. It was one of those. Was it Time? I can't remember. But she was a really like her writing is so phenomenal, and I feel like she'd have a lot of inspiration in her memoir. So I'm excited for it. But I still need to get Dinner for Vampires, My Life in a
Me
Cult on
too.
an actual cult because I don't believe the okay. Luis was kind of believing the rumors about Joy, but I don't know if I believe it because I feel like why would we now hear Joy is not a good person now
Yeah.
instead of back then? I don't know. I feel like that's more because she's religious that now religion has such a bad connotation to it that I feel like I
It's
don't know.
yeah.
That's
And
just
the
because she's
thing,
religious in general that people think she's a bad person.
yeah. Uh, so that's the other thing I was going to talk about both One Tree Hill and Housewives because they have something in common besides both of the creators named Mark.
Toxic people.
Is that and then like if you really look closely from sort of a political sort of it's you know this creator that I watch called said it best. It's if you really look at it, it's Republican propaganda.
Montreal Hill? How is that Republican propaganda? They had
Well,
teen pregnancy and
first
teen marriage.
Desperate Housewives. I'm kind of referencing Desperate Housewives a little
Oh,
bit
okay.
more,
So I was
but
saying Montreal
for
Hill
one,
is not Republican propaganda.
uh,
Well, maybe
okay,
some like
yeah,
not
I was gonna say,
storylines, but maybe comments, maybe.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like certain things that were covered, like even the teenage pregnancy, like because by the way, Jake Chakowski is hot. That's
Brian Greenberg,
undeniable.
yes, and he's married to Jamie Chung, who I love. He hasn't seen the show,
Same
but
here.
she plays Milan from Once Upon a Time, and then I cannot remember her
Yeah,
character's name, but she's the mean girl in Princess Protection Program.
yeah, and but like, what was I gonna say? Um, if it was Peyton that was pregnant, I feel like that would have been taken differently.
Well, it was also the
Uh,
early 2000s though, so I feel like it would have been
yeah,
regardless of like
but like
what. Yeah,
th- th- That's what I mean. Like a lot of early 2000s show tends to like play this like it's again like I'm not knocking it, but it's just the way it was that the fact that they were going to do a reboot, it would not play out today because original it would certain storylines just wouldn't hit the same, and it would lose like that was the secret to the magic of the
Also, the show
nostalgia.
would not have been good.
Because they were gonna put it on Netflix. A
And
10, I'm sorry, but
also,
a 10 episode, 8 to 10 episode show, a show like One Tree Hill, no, no, that
and
we would
also,
not
they
get a
weren't
lot of
gonna
character
bring they
development.
weren't gonna bring everyone back. Like it was
Mm-mm,
doubtful Haley and Nathan were gonna be back. Let's be honest, Naylee is the reason why the show went on for that long.
exactly.
Like, yes, Naylee. Yes, Brooke was also the key to it, but not just her. It was Naylee. Like the majority of the show was Lucas and Peyton. Like they were probably gonna divorce Brooke and Julian or kill him off. They were probably gonna divorce Lucas and Peyton. And I'm like, no, no, I don't want that. And also,
Yeah,
Brooke and Peyton weren't even friends at the end of the show. Peyton didn't even come back for her own best friend's wedding. I know it's because the actor, but still, like the characters weren't talking in the end of the show, so
yeah, there would have been
it
a
would
lot of
not have made sense.
continuity. Yeah,
Like a lot of continuity errors if they rebooted it.
and then if they were to divorce, let's just say Lucas and Peyton, a
I
lot
would
of
have been
us.
pissed.
Yeah, same here because we were all Lucas and Peyton. We wanted Lucas and Peyton to be together for the longest time. So if we saw that in a reboot that they were divorced, we would have yeah, we would have lost our
They
minds.
got their happy ending. Like they got married, they
Yeah.
had their daughter, and they rode off in the sunset. Literally, like that's how they ended their time on the show. And I was happy with that. Like I didn't want them off the show, obviously, but if they
Mm-mm.
were, at least they were off together, happy.
Exactly. And like, I mean, okay, let's just say if they would have rebooted it, how come they couldn't have done it with what they're gonna do with Wisteria Lane? A whole new
Set in the
cast.
same world, but new
Yeah.
cast with
It's like that
potential for
works.
cameos.
Yeah, that would have worked because the fact that Antoine, this is what I mean by Republican propaganda. Forgive me for getting political, but I mean, I don't think it's political. It's like if Antoine or Skills and Fergie were written today, they would have their own storylines. They would not just be side characters. Like we never get to
Exactly.
meet their parents. We never get to see like, and a
We
lot of
met
their
Skill's parent. We met Skill's dad. Remember one
only
episode though.
one exactly. We wouldn't. That would not just be just one episode. Like, and he was reoccurring. See, that's the other thing.
Well,
A
he
lot
was
of black.
main from season 4 through 7, but he still didn't get
Yeah,
storyline. I think the only
that's what I
storyline he
mean.
ever got was when he joined the Ravens in season 4, and that was it.
That's what I'm talking about. Like black and Latino uh
Anna and Felix.
characters were not well represented exactly, and that was the fact that we can only we only remember Anna and Felix.
Well, Maria Menounos,
That's
is she Latina?
this is I think she's like you, she's half Latina and half
Okay.
Filipino,
Well,
but
I'm not half
still
Filipino.
like
I'm half Mexican. I'm Filipino by marriage because of my grandma.
oh well, forgive now I'm gonna get canceled.
It's
but,
fine.
the point is like um it that I wonder how fans would react if there's a more I feel like it'll be positive react if there was a more diverse cast in the reboot,
Like the Sex
and
as a College Girls. I feel like that's why I
ex-
liked it.
yeah, like it would have been a blend of Sex Lives with College Girls, Summer I Turned Pretty, and
And
some
not
of Good
204.
Trouble. Exactly, because
Actually, more, more,
um
not more, not more from not more from Good Trouble. Because Not Suitable for Work, I feel like was diverse, but there was only 2 people of color on the main cast. No, 3. My bad. 3.
yeah, and then the thing is this is the part where I call it Republican sort of leaning show because North Carolina is a red state, and so is well,
Well, actually, remember I looked this up. We don't really know where Wisteria Lane is. They kind of give it a broad,
yeah,
kind of like in The Simpsons, where they give it a city name, but you don't know where the state is. But they kind of give broad like locations that are near it. Like New York, you said is like a couple drive hours away. Like I looked it up. They said it's in the Eagle State, which isn't a real place. So it's like a fictional location.
Wisteria Lane is in Fairview. It's in Illinois.
Fiction. I looked it up
It's
before.
still
They said
fiction. No,
they,
it's still fictional, but
yeah,
it's in.
like
But
yeah, that general
whoa,
vicinity, because they have to be in a place where tornadoes for them to have one in an episode. So
exactly. But sorry, forgive my rant,
that's
but
fine. That's the point of
it's
podcasting.
yeah, but like I'm listening like what I felt like was that I would not want today. Like I would not want the disclusion of bi raisers or
Oh, and also
miss
Peyton was
and
bi, people. Let's be
yeah.
honest with that. Peyton was queer. She was not straight. And I don't think Brooke was either.
Mm-mm. And like the way they did with Anna, like they made her out to be this like I mean to be Anna will not be written the way today.
No.
Like that and then the fact that they had to move to uh,
Boarding school.
uh yeah, or they kept moving because of her being gay. That and I get it was 2003. Okay, I get it, I guess. But even 2003, that's a little too much for that. Like, didn't Ellen coming out in 1997 at least move a needle in a way? I don't
Well,
know. That's
remember,
just me.
remember the episode had to have like a fake title for it to be aired. It was like what called the puppy episode or something, I think, right?
Yes. D- See that
But yeah.
that's like my always pet peeve. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I love 2000s
And
nostalgia,
also, Will
but
and
like,
Grace was a huge show still during One Tree Hill, and
it's
that show
one of
has two main gay characters. But yet, queerness wasn't a big thing in television in the early 2000s. I'm like, what? Was there like, oh, we have one token show, we can't have more? I'm like, that's probably what they're thinking was probably.
that or well, was Will and Grace a teen show or was it a family or
No,
both?
it was an adult sitcom, but it was on network TV at the same time as One Tree Hill, and like you know what I'm saying. Like, I wonder if their process like, oh, we already have a show with queer characters on it. Like maybe
Oh,
that's it.
well, because like you said, because if it's an adult show, that's why I
But
think
it
they
wasn't
had it.
inappropriate. It was a sitcom like Friends. Like it was that
That's
kind
what
of
I
show.
no. This is what I'm trying to say, and I'm not defending it, but I'm just giving you an analyzing from someone that grew up in that era.
Yeah.
Um, a show like if Will and Grace was branded as a teen sitcom, it would not have gay characters. See, and that
Exactly.
even that alone, I had a problem with it because their excuse was, well, teenagers are too young to learn about sexuality.
Okay, I realized I was queer when I was 12.
I knew since I was born. And
Well, I'm
like and
bi, so like when you realize the other side of your sexuality is usually when you're older.
yeah,
Well, from
still
my experience
like
at least.
what I'm saying is like that's why Desperate Housewives was able to get away with having multiple gay characters because it was an adult drama. I mean, hence the term housewives. I mean, who's a housewives at 15?
True.
That's what I mean. Like that, but even I feel like with the teen drama, like that was their excuse for excluding diverse characters. Was like, oh, the kids are too young for that. Are too young for what?
Exactly.
Too young. I feel like the
Too
purpose of
young to learn how to
television,
live life.
yeah, too young to learn about diversity.
Exactly.
That's it. That's all the more reason why you should have a Black, Latina, Asian, gay, and more women writers and producers on a teen show, especially when you're covering stuff like a period or a girl missing her, like who lost two moms. Like, wouldn't there need to be like a woman director to kind of give that perspective of some
And even a therapist on
point?
set, because to play these
Yeah,
characters, like to have these storylines, you have to tap into an emotional point, like some type of emotion to convey it realistically. So like I remember, for instance, Katherine Heigl, who played Izzy Stevens on Grey's Anatomy, she had to play a very emotional scene where she had to cry. And she
yeah,
tapped into the death of her real brother. I believe that, or it was that, or she listened to some music and she's like, never, no, it had to be a real loss. She's like, never again will I ever do that. Like, because she said it was hard to get out of that because she was tapping into a real emotion to unlock a character's emotion. That's why I feel
exactly.
like therapists should be on set when you have to play emotional storylines, so that you can safely get out of that emotion when you hear cut.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That that's what and I'm glad that there are a lot of former like cast or like the show the artists well artists too
no, they're
and
artists.
actors
That's
that
art.
yeah I know that we follow are advocating for that because I feel like there needs to be some kind of therapist on set especially when covering these types of topics or
Yes,
doing performing these types of scenes.
exactly. So, do you want to do a rapid fire of the next shows on our list?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will go next. We already covered what is on my list. Okay, we already covered One Tree Hill. Next up on my list is The Fosters. So I'm just gonna add why I put this on my list because like we said in the beginning, we had a lot of things on our lists,
Yeah,
and
we did.
I was like, I want to put not the honorable mention part because that's gonna be more like current shows, but I was like, for my main list, I wanted to put shows that I connected with, either emotionally, like emotional wise, or has gotten me through difficult times, or is a comfort show of mine. So that's why One Tree Hill is on this one. But I put The Fosters on my list because I watched it since day one, which was June 2013 to June 2018. So that's, 5 years. But also because I've rewatched it multiple times when I want that comfort. Because I love the Adams Foster's family. That's like one of my favorite TV families, I think, not in just drama
Yeah.
television, but of all television. And I said this, I think, in the pilot episode. I remember that where I was when I found out it got canceled by Freeform. I remember my mom telling me, and I cried. Like I actually cried because that show meant so much to me. I love that show. It's another pilot that's probably up in my top fives because it's another one like One
Yes,
Tree Hill where it just sucks you in. You learn
it
about Anna,
does.
Mariana and Jesus' mom, bio mom. You meet Callie and Jude and all of like it's one of the best teen dramas ever. Like I've watched so many reactors watch that show and they like talk. They basically say the same thing. Like it's addicting. It covers real topics in a beautiful way because it has, first of all, it's three creators: a straight man, gay man, and lesbian woman. So three different perspectives to have
Yes.
realistic storytelling. And I think that's why that show in particular, and Good Trouble, because it's the same creative team, why those shows A lasted as long as they did, and B why they hit as well as they did because of the perspectives of the writers.
Fuck the strike.
Fuck the
I'm
strike because
sorry,
I
but
feel
fuck the
like that's
strike.
why Good Trouble ended. I think that's why it ended.
Yeah,
How I Met Your Father
because yeah,
and Good Trouble and the iCarly reboot, I felt like because they were all three of those shows are popular. In fact, they used the iCarly reboot as a way to get people to sign up for Paramount. I think those were the three
yeah,
shows in particular that were sadly casualties to the strike,
they were.
especially How I Met Your Father, because I felt like we were going to get a third season, and I think it was because of the strike.
Yeah. So
But yeah, so I put the Fosters on my list, and I'm going to put the three impactful storylines to me that
ooh,
will always resonate. You don't have to do that for yours, but I felt like for me, especially for two of the shows on my list, why I added them. So the Fosters was the Connor and Jude story. I think I mentioned this in the pilot why that hit so hard. The school shooting episode because it was during a time when I was terrified to go to school because of I was scared that someone was going to come on campus with a gun and shoot the school up. Obviously, in this show that didn't happen. It was more of a scare because they told a different storyline of Mariana's boyfriend threatening to harm himself in her room. That's kind of where they went with
oh
that
god,
storyline.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that storyline, a lockdown in general, that impacted me because I related to it. It didn't happen to me, but it happened to a lot of people in my age bracket specifically. Because 2018, it still happened sadly, but 2018 specifically was the year. I forget if it was either the year of or the year. No. It was the year after Stoneman Douglas in Florida when the March for Our Lives movement happened. And I feel like that's why they told that story because it was 2018 was during that bracket of years where a lot of school shootings were happening. Like I feel like every couple months I was hearing about one. And yeah. And then another storyline that really impacted me was the DACA storyline with Jimena and
Yes.
her family.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, I have not experienced that, but
Mm-mm.
I'm glad they spread awareness about DACA, about the Dreamers, about undocumented immigrants, and that was because it was the beginning of the first Trump administration. I don't want to get
Yeah.
into that, but like, I loved how they used real world, which is what the Fosters was good at. They used real world topics to influence the storylines, and they never handled it inappropriately, might I add. They always hit it on top. Like they always nailed it with the storytelling.
Yeah. And they with like and still keeping it like family friendly and comedy oriented.
Yes, yes, yes.
They covered it, but they still meant it to be serious. Like it is a very serious matter. And why is it a serious matter?
Yeah, and also I will add, because I'm not going to critique everything, because The Fosters, in my opinion, is perfect. It's a perfect show.
Yeah.
I already gave one for critique that Steph is obviously by, but another one that I want to add is the pacing of it. So the show starts in 2013 and runs for 2 years in the show, because they're Callie and Brandon, and then recurring characters like Wyatt and Talia are juniors in the first season, and then they graduate in the 5th season. So that means that it's 2 years. So that means that season 5, episode 19? Yeah, because it's 22 episodes in season 5. Would have been June of 2015. So then when they did the 5-year time jump for Good Trouble, it would have been 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. And then if Good Trouble is 1 year in 5 seasons, which I hate that, it would have been 2021 by the time the universe ends, which I don't like that, because wouldn't the pandemic have happened, or wouldn't have, like, I don't know. That's the only critique I have, because they mention in Callie's last episode that she's lived at the coterie for 11 months. But yet she's been in 2 major relationships in that 11 months, and she's engaged with her boyfriend of 11 months. That's so weird to me. The pacing is not done well, in my opinion. And that's my only critique. But besides that, and in fact, I think for nostalgia, I'll always put the Fosters first. Yeah. And I think in terms of storytelling, maybe Good Trouble even handled it better.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the Fosters is an ensemble, because the family is the main characters, but Good Trouble is an ensemble because it's Mariana and Callie, and then it's the coterie members. And I love the coterie storyline. Like,
me too.
I love the communal living, like, environment. We haven't really seen that done unless it's a college, I guess.
And I love it. Yeah, I did too. And honestly, like, Good Trouble came out at it's funny because it actually came out perfect, because during the first Trump administration, and they did reference Trump when
and
that
then going into the pandemic as well.
Yeah. And then the the coterie, it kind of gave me a little bit of nostalgia because of the way dorm life at, like, OCB and CSB was set up, minus, like, the little kids dorm, everyone shared a room and a bathroom and a shower. But anyway, the point, we had, and even at Hatland, like, we had community, like, events. We had, like, talent shows, birthday parties. We would go on, like, all group field trips to events like Pride, or, any convention. I remember the coterie did that a couple times.
Yeah, they had birthday parties for members of the coterie. One of my favorite episodes was in season 4 when it was Dennis's birthday and they threw, like, a 90s themed birthday. Yes! Oh, I love that episode.
What?
And they were singing karaoke and stuff. Oh, perfect episode.
Dennis, like, the fact that Dennis was a 90s, like, fan, and the music that they had on, I was like, oh, I love Dennis.
Yes. They played Torn, which Torn is such an underrated 90s song, and I love that song. But yeah, so my only complaint with Good Trouble specifically is the pacing, but the storytelling, regardless, is well done. The character development, Callie, how we met Callie as a troublemaker. Well, not more troublemaker. I feel like the reason why she landed in juvie is what she explained why. Her foster dad was beating Jude, and she took it back to his car to get him to stop. And then she went to juvie again for running away, and then again for getting involved in a hit-and-run accident. But Callie, oh my gosh, I relate to Callie so much. She wants to help people so much that she risks her own freedom as a person, because she ends up getting arrested because of trying to help people. Like, Callie is probably one of my favorite other TV characters of all time, because being a lawyer or a social worker was destined for her.
Yeah, when they tried to give her the storyline of being an artist, I was like, no, there's no way.
That's your hobby, not your job.
Yeah. So to your point about her, like, getting into, like, being labeled as a troublemaker, I love that the Fosters really dug into that and said, hey, they're not troublemakers. Did it ever occur to you
why?
Yeah, did it ever occur to you that the reason why they're troublemakers is because of the system that supposedly is designed to keep our children safe and off the street, and yet look what y'all are doing. Because,
Oh,
like,
and that, okay, I'll let you finish, and then I have speaking of the system, I
mm,
want to get on to what that show did. It's speaking
mm.
about the system too. So finish your thought
but
real quick.
was what I was saying is like she the trouble that she like landed herself, like the car accident,
She was
everything was
getting
all of
away
a
from a
sudden
killer.
that she was trying to find. No, not only that, she was trying to find her sister.
Yeah, who the guy lied saying that Mariana was like in a car, like basically kidnapped, and not,
With
which she wasn't.
Yeah, but like remember it came down to the surface because remember Nick followed her, and then she
Well,
was
actually,
trying
no.
to get to Mariana.
What happened was because I know this wasn't audio described. She was hallucinating because at the time, because the first time she was taking the pills was to sell it, like she wasn't actually abusing them. But the
Mm-hmm.
second time she was taking Jesus's ADHD meds was, I believe, to stay up and study, or else she had PTSD.
Oh,
She
for
didn't
the
want to.
robot.
Yeah. So what happened was she mixed it with alcohol, and she was
Yeah,
hallucinating Nick because she had PTSD. So when Jesus called, like, "Are you here?" He took the ankle monitor off to help look for Mariana, and then he was really there. So like
yeah,
he didn't actually follow her, and then obviously he punched Jesus, and that started the seizure, which started the TBI storyline, and it was like, but yeah, so yeah, the whole car accident thing was not Kelly's fault,
mm-mm. And that's actually my other criticism is that it's not fucking audio described. Both that one and Good Trouble,
and it needs to be because
especially
it's such an important show.
it is, and the thing, especially with Good Trouble, the way they start it, and there's a lot of visual
I
things.
know the timeline thing is another. Well,
Mhm.
you have to get used to how they do the timeline thing, where they do like little flashes and they jump back and forth in the
Yeah,
timeline. That did get annoying at first, but then you get used to it after watching
it
it for a while.
took me so many like watches to figure out some of the timeline. Like, okay, is this current or is this
Like they'll
pre-?
jump back and forth into like the timeline of where they're at. Like
And
so,
it'll
for
be
instance,
random.
yeah, like for instance, they'll be at an event and we'll see the flashbacks of what they were doing before the event, but the whole episode they're at that said event, but then you see perspectives of other things going on at the same time. It can get confusing, but once you watch, like if you're binging, then you get used to it. But I guess week to week you forget, and then you like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay, before we move on to the next show, I want to talk about. He brought this up, the system thing. So when this show came out, The Fosters, I was 9 at the end of 3rd grade, going into 4th grade because it came out in the summertime. I had never known about the bad side of the foster care system and privatized, where they like basically give kids to bad people because they don't check records because it's privatized and it's not
Mm-hmm.
social worker based, where they have a social worker assigned to you and you go to their house once a month and you check them out, which there's still flaws in that as well because people fall through the cracks because social workers will get like hundreds of kids assigned to them and there's no realistic way for them to keep on top of all of that. But I never knew about the bad side of the system where people would get abused or even murdered, sadly, or lost, or any of that until the Fosters came out and they raised awareness for the system.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I applaud the Fosters for that because they shined a light, like, yes, on the good side of the foster care system, like with the Adams foster family. But not every foster care system, not every foster family is Adams foster quality, where they're safe and loving and they love you for who you are. Like, they also shined a
Mm-mm.
light on the bad ones as well, because Callie and Jude were, they went through their fair share, especially Callie sadly getting SA'd by one of her foster brothers. It's just, it shined a light.
Yeah, because I also learned that you get paid
Yes, you
to
do. Like, so
foster a kid.
you get like social security checks for it.
Yeah, and a lot of parents and on the show use the foster system as a money making thing.
Yeah, which I don't think we ever hear about Stefanina making money off of that. So I think you could choose not to at the same time, right? I don't know.
I
Because they never
Yeah.
once reference ever getting a check for having, because they fostered Callie and Jude first before adopting.
Yeah.
So I don't think everyone gets, maybe it depends on what way
I
in the
think the
foster
private
system you go
ones
through.
get the
Hey,
one. That's why they're the private ones
okay.
because remember that, and this is where I learned about
Jack.
the bad side about the Republican Party, where remember
Yeah, a
that
lot of them are behind
Justina,
those. Justina
yeah,
Marks, yep.
and that's
By the way,
how
love
the
the
guy that
actor that plays her, Kelly Williams. I've seen her in other
me
things
too.
since. Oh, yes.
But what was I gonna say is that the R.I.P. Jack Danny, the same guy that like beat up Jude and like got landed Kelly and Judy, that's how he ended up with Jack because of Justina and because of the privatized organization.
Yeah, he
And I
beat him.
believe
He beat him to death.
and he got paid money
Yep.
for having him.
Okay,
So
so we're
yeah,
gonna move on because we're almost at 3 hours, and I am kind of hungry. So I'm gonna do, like I said, we're doing rapid fire on my next show. So next up, they're all sitcoms, and these are ones that I rewatch a lot because I have a lot of sitcoms. Elise knows this. I love the sitcom genre a lot. But I picked ones that I've either rewatched a lot, meaning they have a special place in my heart, or they've actually gotten me through difficult times. So first up is The Golden Girls. I own this on DVD, all 7 seasons. I bought this 2 years ago with my graduation money when I graduated high school. This is actually a show that I've not fully seen because it's one of those shows like, you know, when you watch a show and you don't want it to end, so you never finish it. I've seen a lot of it though. Like I've seen, I think, the first 6 seasons, but I've had about 16 operations on my eyes, and when I would recover, because recovery is a bitch, you're in pain for a lot of the recovery time, I would rewatch it. I would have it on, and it would get me through the pain, because, you know, when you're recovering from eye surgery, you're on a lot of pain meds, and you basically sleep a lot, so it would just be like background noise, and it would be so comforting. I love a good comedy, and it's got me through, especially this year, I've watched a lot of it to cope with what's going on in the world, and I had, you know, a lot. This was like 2025 and 2026 have been my worst years in terms of mental health, and
exactly, yeah.
I've leaned on a lot of comfort shows, being like One Tree Hill or Pretty Little Liars, which I didn't have this on the list, PLL, because I needed to be realistic with my list, but whatever, we'll talk about that in other episodes because we both love that show. But I've leaned a lot in the last 2 years specifically on comedies like Full House or The Office or How I Met Your Mother, because, I mean, it's not a lie. Laughter is the best medicine sometimes when you're going through difficult times. And The Golden Girls in particular, it's also very progressive for an 80s show, an 80s, early 90s show.
And we cannot, I'm sorry, but we cannot mention Golden Girls without mentioning what, I forget her name, but the reel you shared about me about one of the actresses being an LGBT icon.
Bea Arthur, who plays Dorothy Sabornak,
yes,
was on a show before The Golden Girls called Maude, and I'll try to find the reel and link it in the show notes, or again, we're going to create a social media today. I forgot about that, but I will link that. I'll reshare the reel on our Instagram page so you guys can see it. It was a clip of her show Maude, where she played a character of the same name, Maude. And it was no, let me find it and I'll put it up to the mic so they can hear it. It was a clip of her talking about how whatever you feel about gay people, they're still people and you need to respect them regardless of their sexuality. And that was a clip from the 70s. Like, it was before Golden Girls. And because of that, she was regarded as a gay icon. Hold on, let me find it. I didn't text this to you that long ago, so I should be able to find it quick. But Bea Arthur was a gay icon because of that. And then also the Golden Girls itself was a gay icon of a show because of the characters. Like Sophia, there was Estelle Getty, by the way, worked a lot with people who were dying of AIDS because she was a Broadway. I don't know if you knew this either, Luis. Before Golden Girls, the actor who played Sophia was on Broadway. Or not Broadway, but she was on theater. And she worked a lot with that. Yeah, she worked a lot with gay actors who sadly passed from AIDS. So that was very close to her. And she said that jokes that were not allowed, out of her mouth at least, were disparaging remarks about gay people or people who were dealing with AIDS. And that's why you'll never, like, there's obviously going to be jokes about, like, gay, like, I even make those jokes too. Like, that's different than making bad jokes about people that are gay. So that I loved. And then they also had gay characters on Golden Girls, and they never mocked gay people, if you notice this in the Golden Girls, which I love. So let me continue to find the clip.
Mind you, this was like 10 years before the puppy episode, so this was like, talk about
because the show ran from 85 to, I believe, 92. So they were very progressive of the time, and I absolutely adore that. And that is why the Golden Girls will always be one of my favorite shows. Hold on, I'm almost there. I think I have it. You don't realize how much we text until you go through the thread to find a specific one. Hold on.
If you search on the search tab and type in, I don't know, like Bea Arthur, it could probably pop up.
Hold on, I'm almost there. Hold on. But yeah, so I really I love the Golden Girls for that. Obviously, my favorite moments are when they're eating cheesecake, which, fun fact, B. Arthur despised cheesecake in real life. She had to eat it on camera, which I love stuff like those little details where, like, oh, I love stuff like that. And then another one of my favorite moments is just Rose and her stories from St. Olaf, Minnesota. Like, I love Betty White. She's such a fucking legend.
Yes.
Hold on. I'm almost there. I found a Kathy Griffin link. Hold on. Okay, and another show on my list is The Office. That is a show that has also got me through difficult times. As I've mentioned, I found that, well, I didn't find it because, of course, I've heard of the show. But I didn't start watching it until the pandemic when they added it to Peacock. And then I also own the show on DVD as well. And then, fun fact, when I graduated high school, if you guys don't know this, I'm sure you do, you can decorate your cap with anything you want. And I put a quote. I can't remember the quote now because it's like a very like niche quote from the show. Like, if you've not seen it, you won't know. But
it's an audio good thing.
Yes, I put a quote on it and I put the show's logo. Hold on, that's my alarm. But yeah, so that show. Okay, I found it. Hold on. That's a different Golden Girls one. Hold on. But yeah, so that one is another one that I love, and I recommend you guys watch The Office if you guys like to laugh. It's kind of slapstick, meaning a lot of it's okay. Found it. Meaning a lot of it is stupid, but it works, I guess. Okay, here's the reel. Let me know if you can hear it.
I know that I cannot put up with a whole weekend of your archaic views on gay people.
What's wrong with my views on gay people? Do you approve of homosexuals?
Arthur, it doesn't matter whether I approve or I disapprove. They are human beings. They exist. It's like asking me if I approve of dwarfs.
Well, that's different. There's no such thing as gay dwarfs.
Have you read Snow White?
Come on, Arthur. You've read Snow White.
Oh, that.
And also, I want to add.
I feel so dumb because that's what you were I was looking for it too. You know what? I should have gone into my like save.
Yeah, you shared it. You shared it, so it should be in our DMs.
Because I did, and I did. My like reaction to that, or like what I put in the caption was like, even in like the 1930s when Snow White was made, we knew that the dwarves had to be gay.
At least
like,
some of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so another thing before I get to my last show and then we sign off, because this is almost 3 hours, which good for us. We're able to have a conversation that lasted this long. But per state set up this thing where they help homeless LGBTQ people have housing. And I love that.
I love that.
Like,
especially young.
In her death, she is still an icon for the gay community.
Yes, because like a lot of us, we know, but like a lot of us forget, like we get kicked out because for being gay, like from our families, even and it has happened, like especially like, forgive me for referencing the South again, but like in the South, like I mean, I like to think it's gotten better, but
or even Mexican, let's be honest, because a lot of the Catholic people, you know.
No, but what I'm trying to say is like landlords will find a way to evict you because you're gay.
Yeah, which is illegal, and I think there is laws, but people still do it.
They do it, and they'll find like loopholes to do it.
They'll lie probably and say, "Oh, you're behind on rent," or "You're not paying certain things," or stuff like that. And it's like, it's bullshit.
Oh, they'll break something and say you broke it.
Exactly. Oh, and I just realized that was my list. So I think I'm. Oh no, there's one more. We mentioned this. At least I did. My last one is another sitcom. Like I said, it's a recent sitcom. Can you guess what it is?
Is it Abbott?
Yes. So I rewatch it every summer before a new season comes out. It's actually the only current show I do that for. I don't rewatch shows unless they're over, to be honest. But this is the only show, besides The Only Murders, that I rewatch before a new season comes out. Because I have a good memory, so I do remember what happened, but I just watched it because I love it. And I want to be honest, I have interacted with some of the actors in real life. I've done this with how did I not talk about this on The Fosters? Okay.
I was about to say, did you get a tweet from Sherry's song?
Even Luis told me to bring this up.
And Danny,
let's get back to The Fosters real quick. Yeah. I don't have it anymore because I took care of my mental health and I got rid of Twitter. Fuck Twitter, by the way.
We shut it down.
But I used to have screenshots of them saved in my Twitter bookmarks sections.
But you
I
didn't
should've-
download them?
No, I didn't. I didn't think because I also had I've interacted with Kathy Griffin too, which is one of my favorite stand-up comedians, and I also had
I
that
was
screenshot.
yes. We
But,
cannot have a favorite icons list without mentioning Kathy Griffin.
Yes. By the way, she was never canceled in my opinion. So
Yeah,
believe what you want to believe. That's what I believe. I don't think she was ever canceled. Yes, she was persecuted. There's a difference, but
we love our not only we love our friends, but we love our stars canceled.
yes, canceled by Taylor Swift is one of my favorites. But so I was doing my last rewatch, that reminds me, I need to rewatch The Fosters again. My last rewatch was 3 years ago because what happened was, and this is when me and him met. We met when I was rewatching The Fosters. So I started my rewatch in October of 2023, about a month into mine and Luis's friendship. And I remember it was October because my brother had a surgery, but I digress. So I was on the episode, which is season 1, episode 9, called Vigil. Yes, I've seen it enough to know episode titles. It's the one where Steph gets shot and we see the flashbacks about her and Lena met. And it's the iconic quote when they're outside the hospital and she's telling Mariana, love doesn't make a family. Or I know the quote. Why did I make it?
DNA doesn't make a family.
Love does.
Love does.
And there's a meme of that. Not a meme, but a GIF of that scene with the words on the side. And I quoted the entire cast when I reposted that. And I said, this will always be one of my favorite quotes of not just the Fosters, but television. And Sherry Som hearted it and reshared it. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I was live tweeting, which I never do that because I just prefer to watch it. Yeah. And I was live tweeting like every couple episodes, and I forget what I said because mine was 3 years ago. Because I had watched the show so I could get caught up to Good Trouble. Because I only watched the pilot because I was grieving my Mima at the time, so I did not have energy to take on new shows. They came out. I'm getting a little vulnerable, but they came out a month after I came back from a mental health facility for attempting suicide, and that's when the pilot aired of Good Trouble. But I watched it. I'm like, oh, I don't have the energy to watch anything new right now. And then I let 3 seasons go by before I got into it again. But whatever, I digress. I forget what I had said, but Danny Nucci was like, oh, I forget what I said. Oh, I'm like, you can't watch The Fosters without crying at least once. And Danny Nucci, who plays Mike, was like, I know, like, The Fosters is a tearjerker. Am I right? I'm like, yes. And I'm like, oh my God, I've interacted with 2 of the main actors in 1 week. I was like on cloud 9. I've interacted with a few people on shows. Like, I've interacted. So this gets back to Abbott. If you guys have seen Abbott in season 2, one of my favorite episodes.
I thought you were going to say you interacted with Quinta.
I wish.
I was like, oh.
I wish. But in one of my favorite episodes of the entire show, season 2, episode 11, which is called Readathon. There's an episode which, if you guys have been in elementary school, there's Read Across America week, where they like challenge you to read a lot of books to like get like a pizza party or something. It's an elementary school thing. But Lisa Ann Walter, who's an icon, by the way, her character, Melissa Schmenti, at the time, not anymore, but at the time was a 2nd grade teacher. And she was like, okay, class, like she was trying to kick Janine Teague's ass because they're both, 2nd grade teachers. And she was like, okay, class, read as many books as you can. And there was this one student who was like basically lying about reading because she didn't know how to read, or she did, but I think she was dyslexic. And it was the way that Melissa handled that, where she was like, there's nothing to be ashamed about. We all learn different ways. And I quoted that.
I love that.
I added, you at them. I did that to Lisa. And I'm like, Melissa's now my favorite because at the time it was Ava and Janine. But since that episode, Melissa's been in my top 3. And she responded. She's like, oh, that means a lot. I'm like,
what did she say?
She's like, that means a lot. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah.
I wish. See, this is how times have changed for the better, because back then.
That's why I love social media, when you can interact with people.
Because like teachers would have been like, well, you need to be better. This person's doing it. Why can't you? Like, not everybody.
And there's a reason why that hit to me, because I was in special ed for my eyes. I was in SPED classes, which is special day classes, for my eyes, and for learning disability in math. So I needed extra help. So I had a teacher like that. And that's why it hit. Like, that's why TV is important, because it relates. And like Melissa, I feel like a lot of her character traits is for the comedic effect, but we all have a teacher like Melissa. And especially
we do.
Janine, who Janine's character is like to show the teachers that basically they take what they are given and they kind of make circumstances out of it, because the show shines a light on underfunded schools,
They
which
do.
I don't know if you went to schools like that. I didn't, so I didn't relate to that aspect of that, but I did relate to the teachers that cared, that
Yes.
bought stuff with their own money for the classroom,
Mhm.
or actually cared about your education and would take you aside and either tutor you or give you the extra help and didn't
Yeah.
just teach you and that was it. Like
And
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I do relate in a way, like, because what's funny is like the schools didn't become sort of underfunded until I left.
Yeah, because of the
Like,
education cuts and
yeah.
stuff.
And then like, but like the closest thing to sort of an underfunded school that I came across, but even then it was CSB, even though it was state, like there was
A
a
lot of state-run
year.
programs don't have the best funding
Yeah,
either.
exactly. And what happened is that they almost cut summer school and the STEP program in 2011. That's how bad it got. But they didn't. But
That
they did cut
sucks.
out, yeah, but they did cut out the SA program, which was like, it was a good
It's
program.
after school, right? Like when your
No,
parents are
it's
working
it's
longer and then
no, it's where college students, and
oh,
I'm talking about
essays.
like,
Okay.
yeah, become teachers assistants, but they're under SA because um they get benefits, and I think the school pays their college.
That
But once they cut
sucks
the
that they would cut
program,
something like that.
yeah, they have to I mean, the superintendent was, anyway, I digress, was concerned. But but anyway, so when they cut it, a lot of like my favorite TAs lost their jobs.
Oh, that
But
sucks.
luckily they needed help in the transition department. And the thing is, a lot of the jobs that they lost, it was for the elementary school kids. So I felt bad for them because they were cutting their aides. They needed it more. But then they apply. I mean, they kept some of them because some reapplied as readers for a blind teacher or substitute. But they just put them as aides, but they just labeled them a sub so they could still get paid. But another thing that happens, they cut out like materials, like you said, with funding. So like one of my brother's teachers literally had to buy, with her own money, might I add, a microwave for the classroom
That
because
sucks.
they like, I mean, and this is the other thing. I mean, Ava's a good example of it, although that admin doesn't help you as much as they should. So everything comes out of pocket. And I remember the same teacher, I believe, had the microwave, but also had to buy her own candy and her own pizza for like a party that they would have had.
Oh yeah, anytime we had a pizza party, we would either do a class fundraiser, meaning we would help fund, like we would bring like $5 or $10 for a pizza, like help
Hmm.
chip in, or
Because even the
the
reimbursement
teacher would do
wasn't
it.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, before we go, I wanted to shine a light on like I want to do kind of like predictions of what I would like to see in Abbott. I don't want to do this for all the shows because a lot of them are over now. But we have talked about this off camera, like what we want to see in terms of comedy, but also shining a light on real things in school. Because first of all, aides are kind of the reason why I loved school. First of all, like a lot of the aides at my school are the reason why I even have a high school diploma, because they would actually help me with my work.
Yeah.
And I loved that aide that we got in Abbott who wasn't good at her job. I loved her for the comedic effect. Don't get me wrong, because I love
Yeah.
that actor. I love that actor. She was in one of the names, by the way. That one that was like
Yeah.
denied. I loved her, but
Me
I want to
too.
see real. I want to see a shine on SPED. I want to
Yes.
see IEPs because we have heard them talk about them. We haven't heard them like. I want to see an actual scene because they're all gen ed teachers and they would be called into an IEP. Because if you guys don't know what an IEP is, it's an individualized education plan. If you have a disability, learning disability, or something that needs extra assistance, you would have an annual and a triannual, meaning every 3 years, meeting with a general education teacher, meaning like a math, English, science, PE, whatever, teacher, your case manager, a psychologist, or a guidance counselor, depending on what extra help you need.
Yeah.
And your parents.
And if you're blind, you're TBI.
Yes.
So it's like a former prestige version of a parent-teacher conference that
yes,
happens
but it's
every year.
recorded. They take notes so they can reflect on it every year. and I want to see an actual scene of an IEP or like
that is
I don't
what
know. I would like to see
CSB
that.
was gonna. That's what CSB was gonna. My CSB sitcom was gonna have for sure. Is
So
an IEP.
I want to see that. I
Mhm.
would want to see. I don't know. I would want to.
And how do people? I'm sorry, but how do people behave in IEPs? Meaning, they'll say like when I mean behave, I mean how they disagree, what they're the aftermath after the IEP, if they're actually going to follow through, or like especially district officials, because also a district official has to be there.
Yes, I
How
forgot
are
about that.
they
Yeah, you're right. You're
gonna?
right.
Yeah, because how are they?
Oh,
What would
and an
they do
assistant
after the
principal or
IEP?
principal, and an assistant
Oh
principal or
yeah,
principal. Yeah,
yes,
at least
because
for
what would
my meetings.
yeah, no, that mine too. Because the reason why I say the aftermath is because what they'll do is they'll try to like tweak it to
To see how
fit
it fits you.
their
Yeah.
yeah, no, how it fits them.
Oh well, I went to a good schools, I guess. I never
No,
had.
that's why it's a good thing that what you just listed about it having recording and having copies. Oh, and that's why I'm talking about like the aftermath, because on the aftermath of the parents' end, the students' end, the teachers' end, the principal's end, the district end, it needs to be a full storyline because um the preparing for the IEP, the meeting, and then the aftermath of the meeting, what was like, because again, what would happen is that they would try to like find loopholes to rewrite it to fit them so they won't lose like one of the things that a lot of school officials don't want to do is lose money,
Which I can relate.
but they also don't want to get in trouble, so like
Yeah.
they're trying the goal for a lot of shady school officials is to make money but not get sued.
Because I don't know if you guys know this, but schools make money off disabled people. I don't know if you guys know this.
They
They make
do.
extra money off having a disabled student.
They do.
So, and I can tell you why I said I relate to this because I went to public school for all of my education up until I was a junior in high school. From junior year onward, I transferred to a hybrid independent studies charter school where we work on our own, but we come in every day at the same time still. We do like 2 hours a day. We do the work we need there, and then we do the rest at home. It works with your schedule. It's also flexible. You don't have to come every day.
I wish I went to a school like
I
that.
preach for schools like that because let's be honest, when you're in school for 8 hours a day, there are some benefits and there's also not benefits. Like being in school 8 hours a day is not good in my opinion. Because you're in school for 8 hours a day. 8
and the
hours
thing
a day.
is, half of you don't really do anything for most of the day. I'm sorry to say this, but you really don't.
Yeah.
It's just like,
yeah,
it's just pretty much
I
repetitive
left public
stuff.
school, and since we've both left public school, I've since learned that school doesn't start now till almost 9. When I was going, I had to wake up at fucking 6 o'clock in the morning and get ready for school. So
5 when I was in elementary school, I had to kind of well, part of us had to commute, but yeah, school. I remember in my high school
because it's a law now here in California.
Yeah, I didn't. What's the law for it to start
that
at
they
9?
start later because of like the development of brains, like for kids. That's not
Yeah.
actually good to wake up early every single day because you need the extra sleep.
Yes,
so they
because
passed the law to push it later.
That's good because they always contradicted themselves. Like, and that's actually where I would praise CSB because so when I was in high school, I'm talking about public school, it started at 7:45. The
Same
tardy
here.
thing was 8.
Yeah, same here.
At CSB, it started like 8:30 to 9, 8:30.
Yeah, so I would go
which
in
was
at my
good
school
because
at 10:30.
yeah, because which was good because kids had to get what 10 to 12 hours of sleep.
Yeah, they say kids and teenagers get more sleep than adults.
Yeah, they need it. So how can that be a thing if they have to wake up at a certain time and get to
and then
school
stay
by
at
7?
school for 8 hours? Like
yeah.
So I would go to school at 10:30 and either stay for 2 hours or 4 hours if I needed extra help. I preach for schools like that because, like I said, how I said AIDS are the reason why I got a diploma, because I would go and work with a para the entire time. They would help me on stuff I needed. And I'm like, I preach for that. Like, that is how, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like public school should be like that. And I never had the shade, like you said, the shadiness of that when it came to IEPs, except for me and my mom requested that I had an aide that helped me with my notes and that helped me even see, like, when I'm doing work, like, help me make sure I'm doing the right thing. They were like, he doesn't need it. Like, we can see him get around campus just fine. I'm like, yeah, that's different to
That's
actually
exactly
doing
what I'm
schoolwork.
talking about.
like being able to get around campus without like I would never need my cane in school because I knew the campus back like from the back of my hand. But I
Right.
needed more help with note taking and actually seeing what I'm doing, and they would not give it to me. I'd have to have a para in the public school come over, take the notes from me, and then go and help the other classmates. Like I would not, and I still needed help. And I'm like, I would be afraid to ask for help, and I would just fail the class because I would not get what I needed.
Yeah, because that's what I'm talking about, the language portion
Like that's
of
the
it
only
too.
language part of it that I had. Other than that, I got the iPad.
Oh no, yeah, so did we.
And all the other things.
Yeah, because the thing with me with Braille, it took me, so I lost my vision. I can't believe it's gonna be 20 years ago, 2007. I learned Braille in 2005, but parents play a very crucial role in how and why they need to advocate, because it took them a good year, like before 2005, because I was in a VI like special day class but for blind in elementary, which sadly they closed down. But anyway, but the graduation thing at that school was 5th grade, and my mom said he needs to learn Braille before he entered. And mind you, I still had vision before he enters, the public school. So that entire summer of 2005, he needs to be drilled in Braille because he's gonna lose his vision. That's just, I do not want us to wait until he actually loses it. No, 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 no. And
because you can still learn Braille when you're fully blind, but it's harder.
Yeah, no, she did not. No, 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 she did not. And that's a good thing, because that was a good transition. Yeah, and a good thing I did, because I lost my vision in 7th grade, which was 13.
Oh, we were both the same age.
By then, I already was like fully writing Braille. Like I wasn't even using the pen anymore. And I remember that same summer, like because I was going into 6th grade at this other school, my eyes were getting tired of me writing. So then I was like, oh no, so good. But at this point, I already knew Braille, so I can transition to Braille already. So could you imagine if they, like, so they would have put it in the IEP, like, oh, until he's like, we're seeing progress in his vision, like the way, no, it had to be written like,
when you're in an IEP,
now.
you have to be very specific with the language.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like writing a contract essentially, and you have to stick by that.
It is a contract, and they put it because they put it where it has to be everyday lessons. No, once a week. No, he needs to be drilled in Braille. Like, and they made it to where the TVI came, like talking about early. Sorry, but basically she came in like around 7:30. So I was at school at 7 learning Braille. Mind you, I was 12. And I picked that up in like not even a year, like months. I was already writing, reading Braille, and doing my work in Braille.
If I go full blind, I want to be screwed because I've noticed this because I've tried to learn different language too. And by the way, to those of you guys don't know, and I still find this crazy, Braille is not considered a language. It's a coding system, but yet sign language is. I've never understood how that works, but whatever. That's beyond the point.
I guess in some applications it's a second language, but yeah.
I'm not good at retaining stuff like learning a new language, trying to play an instrument. So if I go fully blind, I'm going to be screwed because I've been learning Braille since I was 12, like him, and I still know the basics. I did lessons multiple times a week, and I worked on it at home. I can remember shows in detail, but I cannot retain stuff like learning Spanish, learning Braille, learning how to play the guitar. So I don't know what's wrong with my brain and why I remember certain things and why I can't. But I don't know. So good for you for picking it up in that short of a. I think it's because
you
knew a second language and it's easier for you to.
That was because, like I said, the TVI was the Braille lessons were 5 days a week. They were not 3 times a week. No, they were 5 days. We were it was Braille boot camp. There was no. This was serious. There was no. Oh no! He needs to learn it at every TVI lesson. No, it was Braille 5 days a week.
Yeah, and I've been learning Braille for that many. Like 3 or 4 times a week. When I they would come for 2 hours because obviously I was in Gen Ed at the same time. And I would do Braille 3 times a week and O&M, which if you guys don't know that, it's they take you around the community and you learn how to use a cane. You kind of learn how. I learned the surge method, which again, if you don't know what that means, you learn how to cross the street by hearing when the cars go in the opposite direction. It sounds scary, but they have someone with you. They don't just tell you go and see how you do. It's just
They'll do that later on, but
They
that's
will do
more
that later on,
advanced.
like when you
Yeah.
when you're advanced. But yeah, we're getting a little off topic. I want to do a mini-sode though, talking about our blindness and educating people on stuff like that.
Yeah,
'Cause I think that'll be very important.
we'll post minisodes individually about us for us to get to know us and our backgrounds and why we wanted to do this podcast prior to like shows and stuff as like a bonus content thing. So look out for
And there
that.
won't be scheduled days for that. It'll just come out
Mhm.
whenever we feel like it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But there will be episodes every Monday though. That unless there's a holiday or like that's why we're launching after the 4th of July, because that's a holiday and that's a holiday weekend.
And you know what?
You know,
Although it won't be on this, but like we're gonna have to at some point talk about because 13th, Taylor Swift's lucky number. She's getting married on the 3rd of July, so we'll definitely have something to talk about. So stay tuned.
yeah, that'll be our next episode actually. So
yeah.
that's a rumor, but it's kind of been confirmed because the permit's been filed, and you can't really
Yeah.
lie about stuff like that. She's supposedly getting married, which I believe this one. She's getting married at Madison Square Garden. They're gonna have the whole block blocked off for safety reasons, and they're gonna have a tent for like almost 1,000 people set up. So I'm very happy that she's getting married. She deserves her happy ending and like deserves to be happy. And
Yeah.
I'm just excited. Well, that'll be the next episode we record. Actually, it'll be we record again. What, July 6th? So yeah, we'll have a lot to talk about then.
Yeah, we will. You know, I just feel we will. Like I feel like I wish I lived in New York, like to like encounter a security person be like, can you give Taylor this 13 bouquet set? Like
Yeah, we're not weird fans, but like, let's be honest. I'm scared of hearing on the news like what happened at Jack Antonoff's wedding, where they found out Taylor was there, and they all remember that. That shit was so aggravating to me. Like
it was.
Jack is trying to get married. Don't just go because you know she's there. Like it was hundreds of people were like swarming the church. It was
That's
weird.
why with Selena they had to hide the location because Taylor was going to that one too.
We know that it's at Madison Square Garden, but there's gonna be so much security. It's not gonna be like the Jack wedding at all. It's gonna be blocked off. It's gonna But and apparently I heard that Tim McGraw and who else is gonna be performing at her wedding? It was somebody else. I just read this.
Hopefully Ed Sheeran, because I'm sorry, but Ed Sheeran, Perfect is a good wedding song. A lot of his songs are good wedding songs.
It was Tim McGraw. Shit, who was it? It was a female singer. I cannot remember who it was.
I think Hill.
Oh, Stevie Nicks. I heard that Stevie Nicks and Tim McGraw are performing at her wedding. Yeah.
I'm so excited. I hope
let's be honest. I don't think it's gonna be though. Let's be honest.
Oh shit.
Tim McGraw performing at her wedding, that's a fucking Easter egg in its own right. Like, okay, she loves Tim McGraw. That's why she has a song named after him in the first place. But to have him perform at her wedding, if this is true, and I believe it's true, that is an Easter egg in its own right to have him perform at her wedding for debut TV. So, yeah. That was an episode that we just recorded. Almost 3 hours. Can you believe that? I think it is 3 hours. I have to check when I hit end record. But what did you think before I hit end record? Do you have any final thoughts?
I loved it. Like I loved it, and I think this 3 hours is only the beginning. Expect longer episodes when something like this happens.
Like this is how long we talk. Like I'm gonna record reactions after this, or else we would stay on the call like off without being recorded. But I don't know. Like this is what we should have been doing for a long time. Like
exactly.
I did start this as a solo podcast, but I'll be honest, the episodes were like, I think the longest one was an hour, and that's only because I was reading off a list of like my favorite shows. The shortest episode was 15 minutes because you could have run out of stuff to talk about on your own. Like, I feel like that's why a lot of the best podcasts are duos. Like, technically, Call Her Daddy's a duo podcast because it's Alex and then a guest.
Yeah.
So I think that, like, all the best podcasts run with 2 or more people. Chicks in the Office, Call Her Daddy, Office Ladies for me, like the Office Rewatch podcast, like all these like duo-based shows.
We need to do a Love Island podcast.
Oh, I'm good. Okay.
I mean, not a full one, but like do what Chicks in the Office do. Like,
no, that show is kind of overwhelming because I've tried getting.
No, it is.
The seasons are 80 episodes long.
They are.
That's why me and my brother Nick, we got really obsessed with Big Brother like 2 years ago. It's so addicting. That's another reality show I love, but they air it 3 times a week, like 90 episodes, and it got so overwhelming keeping up with it. But it's a good reality show because it's a competition, so it's not like kind of like fake. I mean, there is fake drama, but it's not like annoying fake drama. But it
Yeah.
just got overwhelming because of the length of the seasons that me and Nick just stopped watching it. And that's the same for Love Island. I think I would love it, but it's just the season lengths are outrageous.
Yeah, same here. Like I couldn't. My mom and my sister like to watch it, but it's like it's hard to keep up with it because
The multiple times a
honestly,
week. I know every day, I think, right?
it
I
is every
think
day, and then not
that's
to
so
mention the
overwhelming.
recap, and then the it's hard to deal because with reality TV, it's really hard to. It's very.
You could take it
dram-
in chunks and then you get over it. That's how I
Yeah.
am. Like, I've gotten into Real Housewives on various occasions. I do love it. I see why it's successful.
Mhm.
But I get bored quick because I'm like, I know it's fake. I know it's
Yeah.
produced drama, and I get sick of it after a while because it's different to a scripted drama. Like,
And then like the characters contradict themselves every other minute, so it's like that's when it starts to get boring for me.
like I will admit, Real Housewives is successful because they get the craziest people that make reality TV work. But when they fight
Yeah.
over every little thing, it gets old. And like, I don't know, like a lot of these love shows, let's be honest, they only go on for clout. They're never really, because a lot of them break up after the season's done, or they end up cheating on
Yeah.
each other. Like the same thing for Bachelor, Bachelorette. I'll never watch those, for instance. That's one I'll never
I
get into.
tried again. I couldn't.
But I don't know. Like, I will be very real. I do like the Kardashians sometimes, and I will watch it. But again, I get bored of it because it's, again,
Same here.
produced drama. But there's a difference between reality TV and normal TV. I'll never get bored of normal TV. Maybe I'll get bored of a specific show and then I'll like take a break. But I don't know. Reality TV just isn't for me. Like, I'll dabble here and there, and I see the appeal, but I just can't dedicate myself to binging a whole reality show. I just can't do it.
Yeah. Same.
But
Yeah.
I would, for the sake of the podcast, like us maybe do a reaction to like one episode of Love Island. But I would never.
You know, I kind of thought of that. Or like I was more thinking like doing a reaction to what Fran and Rhea do at Chicks in the Office to react to see if we agree with their takes or not. And yeah, like watch
Yeah.
an episode. And then like use it, do what like the real used to do, use it as a jump off. Like, would you ever go on a reality show? I wouldn't. I thought of like the blind community.
I
given
think
all the
I
stuff that's going
would.
on.
As
Yeah,
a
same
producer,
here. Like
as a producer, maybe.
yeah, same here. Like I always said, like the blind community should be its own reality show. I thought like same thing as
I'd
a
watch.
producer.
I'd watch.
I know you would, but the
Okay,
thing
I've
is,
only
like,
been in the blind community for, I would say, 8 years, and I've experienced some toxic things. We'll talk about that in a whole other episode because a lot of the blind community can be
the
toxic.
point is
so.
that like what would happen, and what they'll do is like, and I learned this from the Real. Shout out to the Real, may they RIP. They're the reason why we have this podcast. But anyway, what they said is that
And
when you're
Alex
on
Cooper too.
when you're on the same with Alice Cooper, but the secret to a reality show, why it gets the way that it is that you're on a mic and what would happen, and then an earpiece, and like we are right now, but we don't have producers in our ear. And what would happen is a producer would like say something random for you to repeat on air that would possibly cause a reaction with the other cast, and
They'll edit you out of context.
yeah, oh yeah.
Or something will happen in your real life when you're not filming. Because the way they do it is I think they record for like a week and then the cameras will go away and then they'll come back when something juicy happens. So for instance, when an arrest, it depends on what show it is. When someone gets arrested, someone finds out they're pregnant, someone breaks up, they'll have them either reenact it or they'll have them talk about it on camera when they know they don't want to. Or so then they'll come on camera aggravated and then they'll get like a bitchy response or something like that.
Yeah. Or like what would happen is, let's just say if me and Danny and Steven were in a reality show, what would happen is that Steven would do something, although honestly, Steven at this point, we don't need plot to create him. But anyway, what would happen is that he would tell Danny something I'd say
off
that
camera,
would upset off camera or even on camera.
Yeah.
And then
the producers will run to him and be like, "Oh, they're talking shit about you behind your back. What do you think about this?"
Exactly. And then they'll even take it as far as be like, Luis said that you whine a lot about your meemaw. And then
they'll be like, "You drink too much. What's up with that?"
Yeah, exactly. And then they'll play a tape of what it'll look like me talking about when it really wasn't.
They'll completely chop it out of context and edit it back together to fit their narrative.
Yeah, and then especially if the narrative is that one of us needs to be on lithium, but anyway, I digress.
Okay, we're getting into like we're getting into he's
See,
referencing
this is
stuff
why I
that's
would.
happened.
This is why I would. This is why I would be a good producer.
Yeah, he's
I'm
referencing stuff that
telling.
only we would know about. We're not going to talk about any of that. But a last
And I'm
thing
not
before
even
we,
drunk though. But yeah.
yeah, a last thing that I'm going to touch on before we end this is I found this out because I was watching a true crime thing about one of the housewives, Real Housewives girls who got in trouble with a scandal. And they were going over like what their contracts look like, and I had no idea because I've seen a lot of the different franchises, like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, with Paris Hilton's mom on that. By the way,
Yeah.
whatever. They have weird contracts. Like they have to
They
sign.
do.
They have to. So a lot of them are business ladies. They have to give Bravo 10% of the cut because they're basically promoting it on the show.
Yeah.
They have to sign that they know that they're whatever they do will embarrass them, set them up for ridicule, make them look bad, even set them up to get arrested, depending on what they talk about. They have to sign a contract that they will not be liable for that Bravo will not be liable. They have to sign a
hell no.
contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, this is why I wouldn't do it. 1, because of that. 2, because they have to give 10% of whatever business they have. It's like if Taylor signed with Big Machine again. Hello?
Hi, you cut out for a second.
Oh, I was gonna say it's like Taylor signing on with Big Machine again to give her masters back.
Which she would never.
That's how it looks.
And then there's a few other
exactly.
shady ones. They can't sue each other for stuff that they say about each other.
Oh hell no! See, that's what I mean. That's what discourages me from doing that. Like the closest thing maybe to a reality show would do is something that Wilmer Balmerama did on a. He produced a. Yeah, I know. But the funny part is like I checked out his like dating podcast. I don't know how that would go, but maybe that's the closest thing I do. But
like
even
talk
then,
about like your dating experiences on air. That actually seems like a
it's a matchmaker one actually.
You know, I believe in matchmaking sometimes because especially if it's a person that actually knows you and it's not like set up with something, I feel like it could work, you know?
Yes, it could work.
Okay, and then a few other shady contract things that I didn't know about either. You have to consent to being filmed at 24/7. Like they can be in the bushes without you knowing, and you have to consent to that because you signed up for it.
Because like I think the filming schedule is like every day, 24 hours.
For 3 months because they have to get 20 episodes worth of content in a short amount of time.
And if they don't have enough, that's when they'll film you when you're not filming.
Like they'll take a lot of like what they would call filler stuff if they have to stretch it out. If they don't have enough drama, they'll take filler shit. And that's why sometimes reality TV can be hit or miss because they have to stretch it sometimes if they don't have the drama and put filler stuff in. Because they film 3 months, but they have to get like 20 episodes worth of content though. So yeah,
and the TV is complicated. I'll put it as that. That's why.
Let's be honest though, reality TV for a while saved TV because it came. Like, when it surged was during the 2007-2008 writer strike. That's when Jersey Shore started, the Kardashians, Teen Mom. What's the other? Oh, My Sweet 16, like those reality shows about people getting their dream Sweet 16s.
My favorite ones are like the cooking reality shows. I love those. Or when they go to restaurants.
As you know, my Lola is a chef. Like she's the film I told you about. She loves the Great British Bake Off, Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen, the ones where the kids bake or cook as well.
Oh, Master Chef and Master Chef Junior.
Master Chef, Top Chef. Like she loves all that stuff. I do too. It's satisfying watching people cook something from beginning to end. I love it. I used to watch Rachel Ray, and I loved that.
Same here.
But yeah, so that was our episode, everybody. Let us know down below
what you thought about it.
We talked about so much, and I don't know what to title this episode, to be honest.
Oh, well, fine. We'll talk about it.
You know what we should do? Because we re-listened to the whole episode again, which is going to be a long listen, but I'll listen to it on my walk tomorrow and like go over everything and make sure I think it's good, and I'll send it to you as well. But I think we should do the sitcom archetype where we take the major 3 topics and that will be the title.
Yes.
Because if you know, like, for instance, Austin and Allie would do like the 2 main topics. It'll be like meatballs and clouds, or that would be the title. Like for instance, top shows and rants could be the episode
Yeah,
title,
like
or
reality TV and sitcoms or something like that. That's
I don't know. We'll think of the title. You guys will know what it is
Yeah.
when you see it. But
yeah, you will.
let us know what you guys think, and let us know if
Yeah.
you guys like long episodes like this, or
Yeah.
should we take segments and split it up and maybe have it throughout the week? Who knows if you guys like that idea? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us
Also-
know what you guys think.
Yeah.
Starting, we've talked about this, but starting with episode 3, we're gonna kind of go on a segment basis, like a talk show kind of.
Yeah.
But like, this is obviously the beginning of the show, so we're kind of testing out how we're formatting it, shall I say?
Exactly. I mean, that's what pilots are for, or like the first season.
The first couple episodes. Are we doing a season basis or just episode basis? I don't know yet.
Oh, let's just do episode. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it could be just episode basis. Honestly,
we're not taking the summer off. We're not taking big hiatuses. That's the only way a season would work.
Yeah. But no, it's 2 episode basis. But I would just referencing seasons. But...
Let us know what you guys think. Let us know what your guys' top shows are. This is definitely not going to be the last of us talking about our favorite shows, because this is like the jump off point for the show. And let us know down below what you guys would like topics. Like, what topics would you guys want? We could do a whole episode about a specific show in general if you guys would like as well. Obviously, that's be a show that we mentioned. Like, do you guys want a whole episode about the Fosters, or after I'm done reacting to it, The Bear, or One Tree Hill? We could so do that.
Yeah.
But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. And be on the lookout every single Monday at midnight PT, 10 a.m. PT, the same day for episodes every Monday.
Exactly.
And my name is Danny Thomas.
And my name is Luis Castillo. Oh, and Danny, I need to tell you something. Thank you for being a friend.
Travel down the road and back again. If your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant.
Thank you for being a friend.
But this has been another episode of podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed. Oh my god!
A plot twist. Well, yeah, the podcast plot twist.
We've been recording for 3 hours, you guys. You guys can tell I'm tired right now, I think, right?
And he's hungry, so yeah.
Yeah, I just got texted that I'm getting nachos, so I'm starving.
Ooh, okay.
But yeah, this has been another episode of Plot Twist. We hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye. That was my favorite episode.